Welcome everyone to the second session of our Climate Supper on the 12th of December. This session we started today at 7 a.m. Central European Time. Dialing in our partners and participants of the Food and Climate Shaper Bootcamp from China, from India, from New Zealand, from Singapore, many different locations. We joined them for their lunch or dinner because due to the time zone differences, we have different dining experiences going on simultaneously today around the globe. So now for the next 3 hours, we will continue this virtual journey. And you can see already some of our team members and some of the participants and local hosts on the screen. What are the Food and Climate Shaper Bootcamps? We organized this joint learning experience together with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations and the Future Food Institute decided to host today's the Climate Supper for the 5th anniversary of the Paris Agreement. So that's also a very significant event today. So I am very happy to welcome Sarah, Vivian, and Gian here today, who actually have been participating on the previous Climate Supper as well in July, and they invited their local community and guests and had conscious conversations over delicious food. And today we have already 2 participants online, or even 3. And I will switch my Wi-Fi connection. Yes. All right. So without any further ado, I would like to hand over to Bel, who is dialing in from the Philippines. That there was a bit of an emergency and last-minute changes for his dining experience, but he's here to introduce himself and tell you what he's doing and what he prepared for today.
Can you hear me?
Ruel?
Okay. Hello. Hi. Hi everyone. So it's dinner time in the Philippines today. So it's 6 o'clock p.m. And so I don't necessarily have guests today, physically with me today, but I prepared some meals definitely for me to eat with you guys. So again, I'm Ruel. I'm from the Philippines, and I'll share with you quickly a glimpse of what I have for this evening. So can you see this other screen, the one with the phone? So as you can see here, I prepared some. It's not the most nutritious meal out there, but these are basically the most common ones that we have in the Philippines and the ones that most of us enjoyed. So I have here fried chicken, and also we have here eggplants, some peanuts that you can see here. These are fried peanuts. That is also quite normal that we do. We have some carrots, some small ones. Of course, I have rice and some fruits out here. This is banana. This is a small banana. I think most of you are familiar with the larger bananas out there, but in the Philippines we have all sort of sizes out here, and we also have here we call it dalandan. Basically, it's a citrus. It's a citrus fruit that we have here. So with me today, these are just photos of the people that are very dear and close to me. These are my guests, but yeah. So what else can I share more about my? So I'd love to share with you, since I don't have guests with me, um things about I do in the Philippines. So maybe you might be interested to ask question also outside the discussion or during this call. But I've been in the field of agriculture for quite a while, and it really made me interested about joining this wonderful boot camp and program. So I'm in agriculture, particularly in the side of financing to smallholder farmers. So I work closely with small farmers across the Philippines in several provinces and particularly very focused on financing. Okay, so I've been doing or developing this crowdfunding platform in the Philippines. It's called Cropital. So I'll show you quickly. I'm not sure if it's very visible, but basically this is our website or our platform. So it's not very clear, but anyway, it's cropital.com. And in the Philippines, small farmers are quite dependent on credit because they need capital to buy seeds, fertilizers, among many things. It's sort of already a cycle. So they earn quite a little as compared to most people. So it's quite difficult to have savings. And without savings, you need to borrow money in times of when the capital is needed. Unfortunately, for most of our small farmers, um, access to affordable financing is not very easy. For most of them, given their stature, informal lenders are the ones that they rely on more as compared to the banks or the ones that could provide cheap loans. And informal loans could be as high as 20% interest rate per month. And given this reality, I figured 5 years ago when I started Cropital that it might be something that could change in a way the small farmers' lives. And I'm pretty happy with how it went. And for the past 5 years, I've been working with my wonderful team, and we've grown to right now we've reached several thousands of farmers in the Philippines for in helping them finance or getting financing. And quite recently, another development is we've created already an e-commerce platform for them, for the small farmers. So the products of the rice farmers that we've been funding, along with our lenders being funded, are now being sold through the e-commerce platform. And we're very happy also with the reception of our partners and even our lenders. So imagine the one that are financing the farmers through a crowdfunding platform are now also the ones that are eating their products. And for some of them, they are even reselling the products of the farmers that they have funded. So I'm happy to share also that this rice out here is one of the products of our farmers. And I actually have my house here being sort of a warehouse. So we have stocks and stocks of rice stored in here for basically for the e-commerce. So basically that's how I am, or that's what I'm working on in the Philippines. And now I'm just having dinner with myself and with you guys, and now eating this food that I prepared. So yeah, I am very happy to hear what everyone else is actually doing, and if there are things that I would could contribute on. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ruel. I'm very happy that you could join despite the last minute changes of your event. And now we will go to another country, and we have Ahmed on the call as well, who is based in Turkey. And I wonder what is the meal what he prepared for today, because he's originally not from there. Ahmed, are you with us? Because I can see your name on the list. Yes, now I see you unmuted yourself, but
I am,
no
yes.
screen yet. There we go.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and it's nice to hear Ruel's side of the story and how he's prepared rice. And I have something similar prepared here for my guest, who is running a little bit late and he's not here yet. But he's but he's not only my flatmate, but he's a very good friend of mine, a very old friend of mine, and he has a background in environmental studies. So he's someone who helps me a lot with my assignments when I'm doing a master's program in food studies. So he'll be joining us hopefully within the next 3-4 minutes, and what I have prepared here is a dish from Pakistan. As you mentioned that I'm based in Turkey right now, but still it's something that is the go-to meal whenever you have a guest, or whenever you're inviting someone over for a meal. It's called biryani. It's made with Gyan. I see you smiling over there, so you definitely know what biryani is, and it's made with saffron spice. It's got tomatoes in it. It's got onions in it. And we put in a little bit of yogurt as well to make it more flavorful and tasty, and to neutralize the spice. And let me just show you guys how it looks like, so you have a better idea. Wait, how do I flip this camera? There we go.
Yeah, an
Yep.
option.
Yep.
Woo! Oh, it looks very good.
Yeah, well, it tastes much better, I can tell you that, and it's definitely something that is very, very close to me. So whenever I have guests coming, whenever I invite my friends over in Turkey, this is something that I cook for them, because well, to be honest, like most people are not very used to the spice that we do like back home. So this is kind of like a dish from Pakistan, but still it's the spices and the content level, everything is very, very
It's
stable.
tempered down, right?
Yeah,
To the
exactly.
Western taste buds. My friend who is
Exactly.
from Pakistan always says the same. She has a cafe in Berlin, and she needs to temper down some of the flavors to make it suitable for the European taste buds. And while I was smiling so much about biryani, because last time I went to Bologna, our colleague Chavi prepared it for me as well, and I bet that you have slight differences in the recipe, what spices to use and so on, because I guess this is something where every household would have their own special recipe, right?
Well, exactly, just as you said that, and I think so I remember like back home we would even whenever we had like festivities with family, and we would have guests, we would make different kinds of biryani. So it's so definitely you have the option to make it with meat, without meat. You could have chicken, you could have fish, you could have minced beef. People also prefer to have it with lentils. So that's something interesting. And so considering like part of my family, they also immigrated from a region in India, and over there like people at a point were more they used to abstain from eating meat. So having the lentil biryani is very common in my family as well. But also, so I think there's like different kinds of biryani as well, in the sense that there is Sindhi biryani, there's Bombay biryani, which the name comes from Mumbai in India. And just as we speak, my friend is about to show up, and here he is. Let me just see if I could put this over here.
Hi.
Hi, this is Saad, and Saad, I've known Saad for almost like 8 or 9 years now. We did high school together. He went to study environmental sciences in the United States. Now he's here in Turkey. He started a master's program at one of the universities in Turkey, and yeah, we're living together for the past.
So he knows your biryani already. He knows
Absolutely,
what to
absolutely.
expect.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So, what was your name again? Excuse me.
Saad.
Saad.
So,
Yeah.
what have Ahmed explained you about the boot camp? Did you already exchange some thoughts about these climate shaping activities, what we are trying to do in the food system?
Yeah, so he shared some thoughts about that, how you're trying to find the sources of the products and where they're coming from, and how to improve the supply chain of it, and how to reduce carbon footprints. And I'm very like, he also explained some of the activities you guys are doing, which is very fascinating to hear about.
Very nice. Well, I don't want to hold you back, and I definitely don't want the biryani to get cold. So please, thank you for joining us, and jump right in, enjoy your conversation and the lunch together. And I will hand over to our next dinner table. Sarah, Vivian, and Gian, if you have any questions in the meanwhile, maybe to our participants, please feel free to jump in. I bet that Gian has also his own biryani recipe in mind while he is watching your dish.
True. I mean, I'm so inspired by your dish, Ahmed. Right there, it's amazing. And as Julia did mention, and as you did mention, there's so much diversity when it comes to such a simple dish as a biryani, and it changes from community to community. And I think it's a great start that you pulled that recipe out and you decided to share it with your friends and us out here on this virtual platform. Thank you for that.
Interesting fact. I read that somewhere. So a key ingredient in biryani, which people often use, is saffron, and I think saffron, if I read correctly, is more expensive than gold.
Yep, it's I guess it's $22,000 a kilo, if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
Yep.
Nice.
Actually, this brings me to the question, Ahmed, how easy it is to find the spices and the ingredients what you need for your biryani in Turkey?
So that's a very interesting question. I think one of the key things that we are not able to find more commonly over here is garam masala, which is a blend itself of different spices. I'm not very well familiar with what kind of spices go inside garam masala, and garam masala itself is a very essential thing for not only biryani but for most of the dishes that originate in the Indian subcontinent region. But I think so. You have red chili pepper, you have turmeric, also key ingredients to get the yellow texture and color, not the texture but the color. And you have tomatoes, as I mentioned earlier, and onions, yogurt, rice. So the rice also has to be very specific. You can't just make it with. Well, you can actually make it with different kinds of rice, but then if it's sticky, then you're not going to get a very the texture is going to turn out very different, and it's just not going to look like biryani for most of the people from Pakistan or India. Like the texture changes and the dish is completely changed. So what we've used here is basmati rice, which is a little bit hard to find in Turkey because they usually don't eat it in their regular diet. But it's something that we searched hard for, and we found this vendor who was selling this type of rice, and we got it for specifically this dish.
Wonderful. So enjoy. Thanks for joining us today. I think it was a perfect follow-up after Ruel's story about rice farmers having a rice-based dish. So perfect. And now I would like to travel to, well, Italy, yet Singapore. It's like a mix of table, basically. Greg, I am curious to hear, what did you prepare?
All right. Well, I was just, Ahmed, he mentioned garam masala, and Easter said she had some. You see that one, Ahmed?
Nice, awesome.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
But just from a gift pack.
Only from Singapore.
Yeah. So thanks. So I know we're listed on Singapore, but we're actually in Bologna, Italy, in jail. Yeah, we're in quarantine. This is day 6. So if we invited anyone over, they would be at high risk, and the food is not worth the high risk, I don't think. But we'll see. Yeah. So our dishes, they definitely won't go cold because they're cold dishes. We'll start with. Oh, by the way, this is Easter. This
Hi,
person next to me.
Hi, Easter.
Yeah, she's
Thank
cooked.
you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a local dish, Sicilian cauliflower salad, and it's got the purple cauliflower with quinoa and buckwheat and capers and olives. So I've never had it before. Have you had? Yeah. So that'll be a new one. And this is all from the Local to You store in Bologna. So it's it's farm to table. So all local ingredients, which is nice. And then the next one, I don't know if Robbie's with us, but Robbie would be proud because I know he's a big fan of hummus. This is hummus with olive.
She's joining soon.
Okay. And then with some carrot sticks just to dip with there. So those are our two dishes. And then I did bring something from Singapore, which was the Szechuan peanuts, which is really nice. So just add a little spice to everything. And then and then after this, then we'll have some the panettone, which
yes,
yeah,
we also have some.
Yeah. Is she coming?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, we're trying to
Coax our daughter.
yeah, just to say hi. So we were all living in Singapore, but then Easter started a program at University of Bologna. There's Lily.
Hi, Lily.
Hi.
Yeah. And
Thanks for joining.
And she made the courageous move to come along with Easter, and so she started to sixth grade at ISB here. So she's her big task right now is to master Italian, just so she can get around, making new friends. But she's learning Spanish, which is that's her big hurdle right now. So let's see what else. Yeah, so we'll be free on the 20th. That's when we get to finally get out and walk around.
Oh, that's perfect timing. So you do your hackathon final and the graduation ceremony, and you can go out and celebrate.
Exactly.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
So you mentioned this local to you or you to store in Bologna. Is that basically a delivery service? So they are curating the boxes, or can you pick the ingredients what you would like to have, or how does it work?
You can do both. So it's a farm to table e-commerce platform. So they connect local farmers with consumers here in Bologna. You can either do boxes, like a mixed box of veggies or fruit, or you can pick whichever ingredients you want. And then they also do, it's all organic, and they also do sauces and pasta and bread and things like that as well. So we get maybe every other week or so, we get a giant box of fresh fruit and veggies. And it's fun because from Singapore and even the US, you can't get things like purple cauliflower. So it's fun to try the local produce and then figure out what to make with it after it arrives.
Very nice, very nice. And well, let's be honest, in Italy, you have a diversity of ingredients. And if this logistics or infrastructure is set up, then it's actually beautiful and very creative what you can prepare in almost all seasons. So Greg, do you want to tell us a bit about yourself as well? And how did you find the classes so far? And how does it relate to your everyday work during the bootcamp?
Sure. So I'm originally from the US. I grew up in Arizona in the desert. So naturally, I became an oceanographer by trade. That's my profession. So really kind of like more environmental science. So I've been doing that for kind of on and off for about 25 years, both in education. I've been a teacher. I was a middle school teacher for 6 years, in research. Let's see what else. I worked for a renewable energy startup, which was for tidal energy. which is still kind of young. It's still a young sector, like where wind energy was about 25 years ago. But really interesting work. But unfortunately, the founder of the company ran out of money, and so after about 3 years, that ended. And then that's when we made the move to Singapore. And so I've worked for 2 different companies. One was more of what is called a mid-ocean company, like weather forecasting and oceanographic services. And now I work for a company called Xylem, which is water technology. And so really the connection with Xylem and FFI and a lot of, I guess, just these kind of interests in sustainable food models would be aquaculture. That's where the overlap is. So we work a lot with mom and pop scale aquaculture farms to bigger in Vietnam, Malaysia, Philippines, and let's see where else, in Asia as well. So that's, and in Singapore. That's I would say that's kind of the most common overlap. But being middle-aged, I'm always looking for doing something new to do, and so that's joining FFI to get some new ideas. It's been great. Particularly the CEA really interested me, the VeggieTech gents, and Tom Z, who I chatted with through the mentor, that half-hour period. So yeah, it's been fun. And of course, being in quarantine, it's nice to, it's great to be back with the family, but nice to, have something to do as well, because we're all going a little bit stir crazy. Yeah, except for Lily. Yeah.
Well, is it her opinion? So anyway, thank you so much, Greg, to share this. And so the sessions, what you mentioned, controlled environmental agriculture works for development course, what we had with the Farm Tech Society on Tuesday. And then VeggieTech had another class about climate smart agriculture on Tuesday this week. So yeah, very diverse topics and conversations. And this time our mentor catalog grew as well. So I'm very happy that you could find someone to talk to during the past weeks. And I am very, very excited to see those hackathon challenges evolve over the final week of the bootcamp, and then hear everything about water management solutions I think your team is working on. And now, please enjoy your meal. It looks delicious, and thank you for joining us. And good luck with the rest of the quarantine. I know it cannot be so easy when you cannot leave the house.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have someone on the line, Sara Badran from Lebanon, and I think it would be lovely to hear from her a tiny bit before the other participants from Lebanon will actually dial in. They are on next on the schedule, and I really like the fact that one of them is based in Beirut and the other one is based in Brussels, and they really wanted to do something joint. So they will basically have a cross country dining experience with us very soon. But till then, Sara, very happy to have you on your second climate supper. Can you tell the others what did you prepare the last time? And I remember you had very interesting guests as well.
Okay, so last time, hello everyone. And last time I had my friends. They were my university friends, and we all together discussed the Chef Manifesto because it was like something new to discuss it with them and like to shed the light on local diverse ingredients. As for the meal, it was falafel, however with a twist. So we included spinach, which is also like, we wanted to make it like nutrient dense food. So we added this. As for, we also did hummus while including beet. So in this way, we included the ingredients from the Chef Manifesto ingredients, the superfoods. So yeah, so we did like a local dish with a twist. And during our climate super, we discussed the food waste and like the agricultural sector in Lebanon, how we should have a clear supply chain from farm to fork, as all the participants said here. It's really beautiful to see this diversity, this local food you are consuming, and like how each country or each dish have a story. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I actually just realized that we might have a bit of a glitch in the timing, because as you can imagine, juggling with all of these time zones and trying to figure out whose local time we have to think about. So actually, I think Rabish and Ruba will dial in an hour later. So Sarah, if you can stay and be with them, it would be lovely. But now I just realized why they are not in the room yet. But this gives us time to also talk a bit with our other local host, Vivian. Hi, Vivian. I hope I didn't lose her. Oh no. Oh well.
Hi, Julia. Can
Oh,
you
she's
hear
here.
me?
Yes. Hi. How are you today?
Yeah. Sorry, it's always a bit of a tricky thing when you turn off your camera, turn on your camera. You never know if you're gonna come back on. How are you this morning?
Very excited. It's already the third hour of our global marathon, so and also hungry a bit. I was lucky that I could run out to a local market, and I bet it's everywhere the same, that you can not only buy ingredients, but there are always some food what they sell there. And in Hungary, we have langos, which is a fried dough with sour cream and cheese and
Oh,
garlic. So I had like an
Oh my God,
early
that sounds
lunch
so good.
already.
You're making me very, very
Yeah.
hungry. Yeah, I've already seen some really good food from the guests. It's really interesting. I've never eaten purple cauliflower, so that's really cool. And actually, the funny thing is that I've never tried biryani. I mean, back home in Canada, the classic Indian food that they always serve us is like samosas or butter chicken, because those are the dishes that are popular. So I've seen, seeing all of the more authentic Indian food really makes me want to actually give it a try, because I feel like I missed out on so much. Yeah, so be really exciting to try one of these days. I think I have to, Gian, you and I have to meet up one of these days.
oh yeah, absolutely. Speaking
You
about butter,
gotta cook me real Indian food.
oh yeah, we need to do a virtual cookout someday.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I also want to actually introduce Gian and Vivian, because they are team members of one of the previous hackathon teams, and they also joined this batch of bootcamp with some reflection bites. So I would like to ask you to maybe tell us a bit about Tasty Teaching, while Ahmad is getting ready to talk about his food. So Ahmad, just give us a few more minutes and then it's your turn.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Oh, thank you so much for this. Vivian, would you like to sum it up for us?
Oh my goodness. Darn, I was hoping you would do it. Okay, but yeah, Tasty Teaching was born actually out of the first digital bootcamp hackathon that we had. We realized that there is a mental health and wellness crisis going on, especially right now with COVID-19, and basically that the approach has always been, okay, you need to have some app, you need to de-stress, do some yoga, all great things, all still really important, but no one kind of was really addressing the food aspect of the mental health situation. Many people who were in COVID, getting stuck in their homes, were eating junk food, maybe buckets of ice cream, more convenience foods, and studies have shown that there is a direct correlation between your mental health and wellness and your diet. But of course, we are actually looking at kind of the flip side. Of course, eating healthy will promote better mental health and wellness, but we're wondering how we can use food as a tool to promote actual mental health and wellness. So not just telling people to eat right and to eat healthy, but how they can actually use it to relax and de-stress. And that's been our project up until this point. And right now we're in the process of prototyping a lot of different ideas and projects. And as Julia, as you probably know, and a lot of the bootcamp participants know, one of those prototypes was tea time. So simply just doing a simple twist on your everyday habit of drinking your beverage.
So every company out there who would like to organize something for their employees, please feel free to reach out to Gian and Vivian if you would like to be part of this prototyping. So now I would like to connect to Afghanistan. Ahmad, now I'm so happy that it worked out. I would love to
Thank you
hear
very
about
much.
the meal that you prepared with your wife.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hi, Julia. Hi, friends. I am Ahmad Naweed Zahid. I'm from Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is well known for its natural foods and also for fresh fruits. And I have two guests as well, my wife and my brother. I'm sorry that I didn't invite anyone from outside because due to COVID-19, yeah, therefore I thought it was better. So yeah, before I introduce my food, I want to give an orientation about one type of tea that is very prevalent in our community. Even some people say if we do not drink that tea, we will be headache all the day. But unfortunately, yeah, we will be headache. That is called shur chai. The ingredients are salt, milk, and walnut, plus black tea. They boil it, but based on a research, they found that it is not very nutrient. Yeah, it is not nutrient, and just people are addicted to that. And even some people, when they faced with some health problems, the doctors told them because you are using that tea very much. So our food today was about this. Maybe we can find an alternative, something that is locally provided and also that is aligned with SDG number 3, good health. So my wife supported me to cook something, and now I want to introduce that. And if you have any question, then we will explain that. Yeah, we cook this. This is called kaimoki. Can you see it, please?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah.
So can you explain what it is exactly?
Yeah, this is bread, but inside bread there is cream, fresh cream. Yeah, that we purchase from the market, and that is produced here, and then you serve it with some fresh fruits. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, vegetable and plus fruit. And the second food we cook. Can you please help? I'm sorry, my guest cannot speak English very well.
That's okay, no problem. If you
Yeah,
want, you
but
can also translate for them or whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, I always translate for them. Yeah, and this is the second food we prepare together. This is called what is the name? Brinjal. Yeah, yeah. The ingredients are rice, water, yogurt, vegetable, and my wife is a nurse. She is teaching nutrition, and she says this is a very nutrient food, even for the yeah, that is medical food, somehow medical food, and that is very nutrient. And yeah, maybe traditionally, but I don't know that is how science will support that or not. I'm sure it will because she is a certified nurse. So yeah, that was the food, and we have also some honey. I purchased it from one of my neighbors. They are growing, they are keeping bees. Yeah, and this is very affordable here. And the next thing, this is jam. Is it jam? Yeah, this is berry jam, and we have a lot of fruits. We have a lot of vegetables here, but unfortunately, still we didn't get the time to analyze that. You know, there are certain problems in our country. We have some security problem, economic problem. Just people are at the survival level. I'm sorry to say this, but maybe later on we can analyze. And this bootcamp will help me a lot. For example, for our NGO, because we are running our NGO and our networking, our learning, and all these lessons that you are providing, they will help us a lot, and we really appreciate that. Now, if you have any question, most welcome.
Thank you, Ahmad. I'm very happy that this time the internet connection supports and you can stay with us, because I remember we actually started your journey in July, but then unfortunately due to some connectivity issues, we had to postpone till November. I actually have a question. It's mainly for your wife, if you don't mind, because she is the nutritionist. I wanted to
I will
ask
translate.
Thank you. I wanted to ask, how is the generic knowledge about food in Afghanistan? So when people are buying food and cooking at home, are they aware of the nutritional content? Are they paying attention? What are they cooking for their families?
اگه مردم درباره تغذیه میفهمن وقتی هزار میخرن بلکه میفهمن مثلا ما چی خریدیم.
نه متاسفانه افغانستان نمیده تغذیه هم چهارم کشوری سوی تغذیه است که در جهان چهارم کشوری که شیوع سوی تغذیه و همچنین مرگ میریم برای بخاطر تغذیه خرابشون که اول نمره شده بود، ولی نو به چهارم رسیده کم بهتر شده که دیگه هر کس هر چیزی پیدا کرده میخوره.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, we were #1 country in malnutrition, and fortunately now we are fourth, and many people, they do not know what to eat and how to eat, because as I already pointed, we have some specific problems. Yeah, but they just try to find some food at the level of survival, because we have a lot of poverty here, and we have some maternity fatal. I don't know what is the exact meaning, because it is the mortality, sorry. Yeah, the mother's mortality, it is the specific problem is due to malnutrition. Yeah, it means we have to go long way to buy our support. Yeah, to go at that stage.
Yeah. So you, her work, how can she? What are the actions? What are done at this stage to fight fight hunger and also work for healthy nutrition?
Yeah. Can I answer instead of her on behalf of her, because I'm in the picture?
Of course, yeah, of course.
We are working in the same NGO. Yeah, I'm supporting them somehow. Yeah, actually we have an NGO, and we are getting funds from international organizations that are working in Afghanistan, and they are announcing their projects, and then we are applying, and then they will study our proposal. And we have implemented a few projects about nutrition, but our main activity is teaching nutrition subject at nursing schools, and also some public awareness. But truth be told, in this place that I am talking with you, we have a very big land, we have a very big garden, but still I'm not succeeded to manage it and to make my house self-sustained. So if we see the others, maybe the problems are larger. Yeah, and we are very much interested to learn, and when we participate in some global trainings like this boot camp, and when we say we are from Afghanistan, it is very surprising to them. And even a few days ago, I said I'm from Afghanistan. He said, "Who?" Someone said, "You are a survival." I said, "No, I'm enjoying it here." Yeah, still we are trying to find our way in this mess. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ahmad, for sharing your story. And I bet that your meal is also a warm meal. So I want you to enjoy it now together with your wife and your brother. And see you around. Please follow the rest of the conversations along the day if your time allows. And I see you next week for the other classes.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
So who else do we have here? So Vivian, I actually wanted to connect back to you if that's possible, because I wanted to talk a bit about food techies.
Hey, sure, of course. I'm happy to always talk about my organization.
So please tell the audience what you are doing in Tampere, Finland.
Yes. Well, actually, so the idea started about a year or a year and a half ago, but the association I only officially started it in June. But I was basically me and my co-founder at the time. We were thinking that there were a lot of startup and incubators, or there was a lot of entrepreneurial communities focused primarily on tech and tech only. And then we were like, well, what about food? And and also not just what about food, but how could we use technology to make our food systems better? So that was where that idea sort of was started. We tested and piloted some things, and in the summer of this year, so we finally started Food Techies Finland. And that's my boyfriend there. He's awesome. He's getting me water when I need it. And food when I need it. But so we our initial plan, of course, we had first started our activities with food hackathons, and we were about to host another physical hackathon before COVID-19 hit. And then when that didn't happen, we're like, oh, what do we do? And so we moved all of everything online. We had our first ever online food tech hackathon, which was actually really good. We had 40 participants, 10 really great submissions. One of the finalists, Tuomas from Block Garden, you'll be hearing more about his work on Monday. He's one of the rising food startups here in Tampere. He's got the city of Tampere has given him his own space to do his urban farming startup and help with doing that work. So it'd be really cool. And so we brought together the community. It's been a bit surprising. We didn't just get Finnish people in our online community. We got a lot of international people as well. So we have over 200 people in the community. They've all got their little projects going. Some people have thought about taking an urban farm, or they want to go around. They wanted to drive around in a van and educate people about urban farming. We've got some other projects in the community in and around Tampere. They're helping with fish restoration. I just actually was chatting with a new fellow yesterday, and so we started to just realize that there were actually lots of people in Tampere, Finland, in Finland itself, that were all trying to find a place or a community where they could, do something in the world of food and food tech. And so that's what Food Techies Finland is. It's kind of just that community space, that place where you can plug in, connect with like-minded people, find potential team members, potential co-founders, and just learn more. And it's a chance to basically become, rather than an observer in the direction of your food system, an actual actor or player.
Thank you for sharing this. You mentioned a hackathon, and this brings us to actually the final activity of the boot camp as well. So I would like to ask you, Gian and Sarah, to give some tips to the participants who just formed the teams this week, got their challenges, and now they have a bit more time to work together than you guys had for the edition in July. But what can you advise them, especially when you have different time zones in the team? What are the tips what you would give them to successfully accomplish this assignment as well?
Okay, so first for the time zone, I guess they have to take it as a positive thing, as not as a maybe as a problem or as a challenge. Since if you have your team members that are in another country, while you sleep they will work, and while they sleep you will work. So it is like a positive thing. So they have to take it as an opportunity to have to profit more of the time. Another thing is that to talk to mentors and to profit from everything the mentors would tell them, since really they will feel like there's points they did not maybe think about it, and they will have a clear view of the problems. Like they will spot check some maybe things they didn't cover them, and yeah, it's like a great opportunity, and they have to it's 1 weekend, but it will to go very fast, and at the end they will find themselves only with the pitch. So yeah, they have to profit from it as much as they can.
True, very true, Sarah. And I would like to add to that as well. And three key points that I can think of when it comes to the hackathon. Number one is every session during the boot camp has contributed in its own empathetic way towards the hackathon, right from ecosystemic thinking to regenerative thinking and even building of communities. Even the hackathon team in itself is a virtual community. And thinking about resilience and thinking about time, you feel for one another, you connect with one another. And once you start understanding what time means in those 48 hours and what the responsibility and role of each participant means for those 48 hours, you end up coming together as a group. And one key motivation that I had for myself is do not go in to win, but go in to participate thoroughly and completely. And when you do that, you give in your 100%. And another interesting part is all businessmen, all government organizations that I know of, lawyers, lot of successful people out there. The methodology of a hackathon is to put you into a scenario where you are forced to think through and come out with something so beautifully interesting. And this is something that's followed not only by hackathons, but global leaders as well. And they put themselves in such a scenario that forces them to think. And that's how the most successful innovations come out in the world and the most successful businesses are established. So the hackathon in general, the entire structure, the entire emotion of those 48 hours not only helps you complete the hackathon, but also molds you to be a successful entrepreneur in future, because that's how life would put you through circumstances where you would be forced to think in that way and come out with something interesting. And that's something that I would like to add for all my fellow future alumni of the Future Food Institute.
Thank you, Gian. Vivian, would you like to add something? I saw your microphone being unmuted.
Sure. Is my video working or did it freeze?
It is unfortunately black at the moment. Now okay. We can see you.
Oh, good. All right, awesome. Yeah, I was actually just thinking about what Gian said and playing with that. when you guys go into your hackathon, it's going to be very much like a big up and roller coaster ride. So you're going to have like this high, and you're going to go in and you're going to be like, yeah, and you're going to be like, the solution is so great. And then, and then the mentors and everyone, they're going to challenge you. And you're like, uh-oh, maybe it wasn't so great. And then you're going to hit this low, and you're going to be like, oh my God, what do I do? But, you don't get disheartened. It's all part of the process. And you will think of a really great solution. And just keep an open mind. Just understand that the solution that you first come up with, or the product that you think you're going to come up with at the end of 48 hours is not necessarily it's not going to be anything similar to what you end up with. And that's the beauty of the hackathon. And that was the experience I think that Gian and I had. We came in with this one idea, and we ended up with something totally different. And that's the awesome part about doing this kind of intense 48-hour experience. So looking forward to seeing the type of journey you guys have, what you started out with, and what you guys end up with.
Thank you. Yeah, that weekend will be definitely high on adrenaline, I feel. It's always such an intense activity together. I actually saw Jessica arriving. So we have someone from Italy to maybe connect with. Hi, Jess.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good. I'm sorry, I'm working, but we are tuning in from the kitchen here at Casa Maria Luigia to do our climate supper. I have my guests with me who are also a colleague and somebody who I work with very closely for different projects here in the city. So whenever you're ready, we are, and we can start presenting our dish that we made today.
Yes, I would say let's do it.
Sure.
Let's do it, because if you're already on the line, why not? And then we can let you work afterwards and enjoy the delicious meal.
Perfect.
So I'm looking forward.
Great. Okay, so first maybe I'll present the two people that I have with me. First I have Nicholas. He's here. He's a German Filipino. He's in Italy right now doing an apprentice here at Casa Maria Luigia. His specialty is in, of course, gardening. He helps us take care of our property here, growing fresh vegetables year round. And he's studying right now to go back basically to the Philippines and start a health forward program for athletes happening there. So really trying to get sustainable local foods available and fresh for training athletes around back in his home city. So he's here with us. He's been a huge hand getting our vegetable program on top for the last 6 months. Right now, we're only growing cabbage. It's been also raining for the last 10 days. So there's not much happening there now, but this summer has been really exciting. So that's Nick. And then here I have Luca. Luca is with us. He works for a nonprofit here in Modena called Food for Soul. Food for Soul is an organization that's been set up that deals with food surplus. We call it food surplus as opposed to food waste, of course, to make it more appealing to the people consuming it. But what Luca takes care of is going around to the different markets and different food vendors and getting food donations, things that these people are pretty confident that they won't be able to sell for whatever reason, because of the aesthetic of the fruit, because of maybe a close expiry date. If there's a product that's going to expire in 2 days, they don't sell it anymore. So he goes around and collects all of this food and then redistributes it to the different nonprofits around town, making lunches and dinners for people in need. Super important, especially at this time of year. So that's Luca. He's here with us today. And we have prepared a dish that is really dealing with a lot of the extra food ingredients that we get in the kitchen. These are things that typically in a fine dining establishment don't usually get consumed because they're not considered, the best part or of the vegetable or of the fish. But just by using different techniques for changing the textures, the flavors, and especially preservation techniques as well, we're then able to create something that's actually quite appealing, especially in a fine dining establishment. So we have done a fish dish using a sea bass. So here the sea bass that we get is very large. For our guests, we use the top parts of the fillet because they're big and they're juicy and that's what people want to eat. And then there's always the tail piece that's left. This tail piece that is less appealing for people. So instead of throwing it just haphazardly into a stock or grinding it up, by using different techniques, especially that I've taken from Canada, where we have, preserving food is like our forte with our 8 months of winter. We've taken the tail, first put it in a cure for 24 hours, and then cold smoked it. So what we're doing with the cure is we're extracting a lot of that extra water in the tail. And we're also changing the consistency of the meat to make it a lot more supple. The smoky flavor, of course, just augments, this flavor profile of this fish. And then we glazed it with this sauce. This sauce is made, it's called carpione. Carpione is another Italian preservation technique where it's being put in caramelized onions and vinegar. And they use this for a whole bunch of different things, fruits, vegetables, and fish. So here we've done it with the fish by using the whole part of the onion. So by opening up this onion, nothing is really getting wasted in this dish. We've used the flesh to caramelize it down in vinegar, which we've then marinated this smoked fish inside. So it's really flavorful, a little bit of acidity, and will also last for a long time, which is very nice. And we're just gonna warm that quickly in the oven. So this is the sauce. You can see it has a really luscious consistency. It's so very nice. Has the natural sweetness from the onions, and of course this acidity. Another thing that we've done is we've taken some of the raw onions and then pickled them. So this is something that we do a lot of pickling with a lot of different ingredients from onions. In this case, I'll just put my finger in them. But you can do it with flowers, fruits, vegetables, anything. When you have a small season or a small amount of time that you have an ingredient available, a way to extend that season throughout the year is to pickle them. And then you get a lot of that flavor as well. So we're going to use this to garnish the dish underneath the fish. And then with the peels of the onions that typically go thrown in the garbage, we've done two different things. So the first one is creating a broth. So by roasting the onions with these skins as well, and then boiling them down with a little bit of kombu, which is a seaweed that adds a lot of umami without using meat. You can find a lot of that umami flavor in this seaweed. We put it in and then reduced it down and created this super concentrated, very intense onion stock. So this is going to go in one of the sauces on the dish as an added flavor. And then with anything left of the onion, we've made an onion powder. So this is just by, again, roasting those same onion peels and then dehydrating them in the oven to create a very thin onion powder. So this is just a ton of different techniques or ways to approach an ingredient where you're just saying, okay, it doesn't have to go in the trash. There's something that we can do. So that's the base. So what we're gonna do is, my lovely assistant, Nick, is going to put the fish in the oven. Thank you, Nick.
I love it. I feel like I'm in your kitchen while you are explaining.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing a little class. Wonderful. So we prepared a couple sauces while the fish, it's already been marinated in that sauce. And so we're just going to get a nice little glaze on the top of it in the oven at 200 degrees. And then last night, actually, during service, we make a Parmesan souffle. It's one of our famous Osteria Francescana dishes. And souffles, the kind of bad thing about them is they only require the egg whites. So these egg whites, of course, is just half the egg. And so we were left, of course, with the yolks. And so what I wanted to do was create a sauce out of the yolks. So we're going to make a zabaglione. We're going to do a savory version of it, though, not a sweet one. So in this egg yolks, which I have here in the bowl, we can add, just to flavor it, a little bit of our concentrated onion broth. And then we figured, just for flavor, to make it nice and tasty, we have this nice amber beer. So we'll add a little bit of that as well. Then as you can see here, I have this pot. It's just like some kind of not boiling, but steaming water. And we're just gonna start whipping the eggs a little bit just to give them a little bit of body. Not gonna take too long. Wanna do that? My assistant's gonna do that for me, Joe. And so that's gonna be the egg yolk sauce. It's only gonna take a couple minutes. Can you hear me still, even though he's whisking next to me, or should I move? You can hear me, great. And then the other sauce that we wanted to add on, just while we were at it, was we've had a little bit of a problem in our garden growing fennel this year. Our fennel has not come out great. It's a vegetable that with our soil here has had a little bit of trouble. And so the ball of the fennel is actually not particularly tasty. It's actually quite fibrous. So what we've done is taken the entire fennel with all of the greens included, cut it up very small, boiled the fennel part, and then blanched the green of the fennel, which is packed with flavor, to create, and then blended it. So we've created this really intense green, beautiful fennel sauce that we're gonna add on to this dish as well. So these are our elements that we're gonna put on the plate today, hopefully to create—
So many flavors.
Yeah.
I'm just listening, so many flavors, colors, everything, smoke, green. Wow, very colorful.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, the thing about cooking and what, you know, what we love about it is the fact that there really are no rules. You know, you'll learn a certain technique base going to culinary schools or from the different kitchens that you work at. But in terms of flavor combinations, it really is endless possibilities. And so just don't be scared. And I think that by people learning some of these, just the basic techniques of preservation, what to do, can I blanch this, can I cool this, can I bake this, can I fry this? At the end of the day, you'll be able to combine a whole bunch of different ingredients that you've never considered before, but at least knowing how to treat them because you have that base of knowledge for how to actually transform them. So when we talk about making, you know, zucchini broth like we did the other day in a class, as long as you know how to make a broth, you can make a zucchini broth, or you could make a potato peel broth, or you could make, you know, a carrot broth. You can make anything a broth, but as long as you know or you have that knowledge of broth making. And so this is where we're going. We have these different techniques for these sauces, and we've just opened our eyes to the ingredients in front of us and said, okay, how do we apply our techniques to what's in front of us today? So this is a new dish. We've never tried it before. So we'll eat it, and maybe it's gonna be terrible. Probably not, but you know, there might be something that we're gonna say like, oh, you know, maybe I'll do this differently next time. But that's the thing about the creative process, is that it never ends. And everything that you do is a part of this creative process that will then bring you to a dish that will be final at that point in time, that maybe a year later you'll change again because you've learned something new. And that's the beauty of the kitchen. So this is where we are. Nick, great job. Our zabayone is done. So
I love your motivation in the kitchen and how you motivate the others as well. Wonderful.
We do the Zooms and I'm at home and I'm just like, but this is the domain, you know, this is, everybody has their space in life, you know, that just kind of gives them a spark. And then that's where people should, you know, focus all of their energies, because that's where we'll find all of our great results in life is just following what we're passionate about. So, and I truly believe that. And that's why I've been doing this crazy job for so long. All right, we're ready to play.
Very good.
Great, so.
This is amazing. It's amazing, and very interestingly, the entire dish goes with the weather as well, and the season at play. And if I may add, it's very French too.
Very French, very Italian, a little bit of Canada. And yeah, it's again, you know, like you travel the world and you just pick up little pieces of information from everywhere and create your own like catalog of ideas, you know, in your head. And so definitely learned a lot traveling, and well, intend to continue doing that. So
I love how you're wearing a toque, Jessica. I love how you're wearing a toque in the kitchen. That's the best. That's just like, it's like this weird cross between you're saying all these Italian ingredients names, and you're doing all this fancy like other fancy stuff, and then you're wearing a Canadian toque. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, here at Luigi, what we do is we actually have gone back to a very antique form of cooking. And so every single morning in the outdoors at 6 a.m., we light this massive wood burning oven, and that's where we bake everything from our breads to the entire breakfast spread, all of our desserts. Everything is being cooked directly on the fire outside, just as a way of reconnecting again with the past and with very pure flavors. And just, fire and food and seeing what comes of that and kind of taking a step back from technology. In that sense, is actually very humbling, very challenging, but very humbling. And I wish I could bring you there, but there's no Wi-Fi, so we're gonna have to stay in the kitchen.
I think you just brought up an interesting question. Oh, sorry. Yeah, but because you say it's like taking a step back from technology, but it's like for my this is a topic that's come up a lot in my association because we're talking food techies. It's like, oh, so what do you mean with technology? So super high tech stuff? And I said no. When it comes to food tech, it's the application of technology, old and new. Because that is technology, what you have, that wood burning oven, it's just old. And we had that discussion, I think, in the Reflection Bite session. Name an innovation that has become a tradition. And so that's, I think this is a perfect application of that. This old wood burning oven, once an innovation, now a tradition. Thanks.
I find that it's also so circular in the sense that, well, the guy, first of all, the first guy who discovered fire thought he was the next Bill Gates, pretty much, he revolutionized the world and revolutionized the human race. I mean, we are and developed as humans as much as we are as soon as man and woman learn to hone fire, because it's something as simple as the humans learning to cook their food actually spent much less time in the day masticating. And that's something that most animals spend most of the day doing. And so while humans, we could masticate, get the same nutrients by eating more quickly, just by cooking our food, we were then able to go out and develop all of these different areas of our brain that have led us to where we are today. And I think that that's why fire has been so fundamental in just our own evolution as people as well. And then when you go through these technical revolutions in food, where you have El Bulli who's doing spheres and mousses and creams, and it's very interesting. But there's almost an emotional side of food that gets lost sometimes when you can't feel that nostalgia or those memories or smell it or have again that connection that is so primordial to us. It's so deeply embedded in who we are as humans that it's nice to rekindle that connection again that we have with kind of this very natural element and our emotions and the things that we're eating. So that's why we find it fascinating to, after we've gone through Osteria Francescana and this very contemporary approach to cooking, now taking this step back to the beginning and starting at where we were, millions of years ago. So it's really fun. It's really great.
And very inspiring. So Jess, do you want to show us the plating, or do you mind if we start? Oh yeah, okay, let's see the plate.
We'll
and then we have
quick.
to go to Africa. Thank you.
But you have to go, you're traveling the world.
Exactly, sorry.
No, that's no problem. So what we're gonna do is, if you can see it, we're just gonna do something fun, because what we know is we eat with our eyes. So we're gonna do something very beautiful. Let's just do.
The Massimo Bottura style.
Exactly. We're coming back to where we are. We're gonna do a little spin painting.
Was it the dish? Oops, I dropped my pie. Was it? Is that
I
how
dropped the lemon tart. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, oops, I dropped the lemon tart.
Okay.
It's a dish that's all about the beauty of imperfection. So as you're going through this creative process, when they were trying to create this tart, it fell on the plate and it became something more beautiful in its imperfection, and really talked about human imperfection. So we're gonna take this fish, we'll put it up here, and we'll take some of our pickled onions just to add that really intense acidity. We'll put it down here on the plate. And we'll take some of our onion powder, more intense onion flavor, and get it on top of the fish to add a little bit of a crust. And that's our dish.
Wow.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very much.
Please make a photo and post it so we can share all over. Thank you
Sounds
so
great.
much.
Okay, have a nice
Because
day,
happy
guys.
to meet you.
Bye.
The others. Bye-bye. Ciao. Wonderful. What an inspiring
Wow.
session. So as I mentioned, we are traveling to another continent now. I actually have two of the participants already lined up. Second, are you with us? Do you want to switch on your camera and tell us what you have prepared today? Who are your guests? What are you doing? And there we have Desigan as well. Hi, hello everyone.
Hi guys.
Second, you are muted.
Oh, okay. Hello. Due to social distanciation measures, I've not been able to invite my friends who are foodies, who are more knowledgeable about what we're trying to do. But I've been able to get together my team, my best team, which is my family. And of course, I mean, you've seen Guma all the time. We're together when we are pitching. We're together when we are closing deals, and we'll be together with Enata, my beautiful wife. Hello. and again, Guma, a superstar.
Hello.
Hi.
And today you've chosen to go again back. This is a choice you've been making over and over, making sure that we are eating something that comes from Rwanda, something that is grown in Rwanda. We can consistently have as supplied in our markets. It's a very extremist as a choice. It's not all easy, but it's a stand we've taken we seriously. And today we'll be eating something called cocoyam, together with aubergines and some avocados. So let's taste. Cheeky.
Can you please explain, so the first dish what you just mentioned, cocoyam, if I heard it properly, what is it exactly?
It's a tuber. It's some indigenous species of what Rwandans used to eat. I mean, we're not so sophisticated as a country when it comes to gastronomy, but it's a tuber, and it helped us go through all the famines and disease, and it's still there. But because it's an indigenous crop, very few people tend to go back to it again. It's not that fancy, it's not that popular, but older elderly people and people who are mindful, who understand it's something that is growing here. It's something that whenever, even if imports are cut, we still have it here. And at the same time, it has been able to grow in this environment because it's like it's fit for these soils. And it would be very very pity to lose. Oh man. It's raining and we have to decomp.
No, you just did. Now it's
Yeah,
raining.
but we're moving inside. We're moving inside. And what we have again is our typical avocados. It's not Hass, it's not Fuerte. It's a more tropical, like Rwandan species, because it's small, but very tasty. And another thing we've chosen is the small bananas. They're called apple bananas.
Wow. Today we already saw another banana type from the Philippines. I'm very happy that we can show our audience that there is not only one.
Ours are more sugary. Whoever tests them, they cannot test any other. And when it comes to making sure that you want someone to stay in Rwanda, you never can miss your bananas on your table. And apart from making sure that you're eating sugary things, we know that it's natural. It's not made of any how do you call this? Any fertilizers, any mineral fertilizer. It's made of by farmers. We pretty much know them. You know that every week they know you. You know that every week you need one regime with 5 different bananas, and you know you're going to have them. So when you are gathering around the table, it's not that usual, especially because we both work, my wife and myself. It's always like a time to reflect about why is he bringing things that are less good as he used to do. It's more, I mean, we are building every day our supply chain pretty much. And because I'm into food, the entire family has become experts, a family of experts. My little one has always lessons to tell to his fellows when he's at school or when he meet them in any kids area.
The playground, yes.
Yeah. So
That's
I mean,
wonderful.
today,
I think he's the new generation who can join the boot camp very soon, right?
Sorry?
He's the new generation who can join the boot camp very soon.
Oh, we have some. You mean joining our boot camps next?
Yeah, exactly. Soon he will be like grown enough with already all this expert knowledge to join the boot camp.
He is already following this already, so he will be on another level already.
Exactly.
And he's now knowledgeable about the prices. At 4, he knows already investors deal. Whenever we go to hotels and we're discussing things, he jumps in and say, "I know what investors are. I know." And I hope with him we wanted to do some kind of YouTube channel where he'll be talking about food to his fellow kids.
I am looking forward to see this channel. You will be the next influencer, food influencer, right?
Exactly, yeah. Fine. Sorry that the rain cut us short. We wanted to show you and talk about the nutrition side of what we are eating and the symbolic behind it, because we are on weekend. Normally we go out of town, but we've not been able to do so because of COVID and all this. But beyond just the physiological aspect of what we are eating, there's always a symbolic and history after it, because Rwanda has been a very a starving country, and it still is. And our DNA has not evolved from the day when we didn't have enough to today we are producing more than we eat. And we don't have a national recipe. And with Pack and Pick, that is the mission, is to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 7 national recipes. So if they get through and people adopt them, we know from these adopted national recipes, we know the ingredients, we can inform our farmers accordingly to produce not more, not less than what's needed in town. And of course, ensuring that there's a decent, transparent, and fair value chains established based on people's tastes.
Wow. That sounds like a very nice food future we should look for.
Yeah, and when we have Guma, tu viens? So as families in Rwanda, we have
Would you mind turning the camera back? Sorry.
Up again, okay.
Yes,
okay.
sorry.
So we make sure that whatever we have, the little we can have, we share with the entire family. Normally, we have many families gathering on weekends, but with this counter the measures against COVID spread. We've been confined in the confinement, total confinement, even if we are tagged as to be champions of counter COVID measures, but always it comes with a cost of social cost, which is yet to be calculated. And it hinders also our food habits, and our markets are less supply than before. And we can do but won't deal with what we can afford to have in our not the neighborhoods, but in our close neighborhoods. Any question?
Well, actually, I had one question because
Yes,
you mentioned this, and then this is the last one because then I think Desigan and his table is already waiting. Is it the same in Rwanda that actually the general public is more towards the westernized diets and they follow that because that gives them a certain status?
That's the chaos here. I am against, I am fighting. I am making some money in supplying hotels and restaurants, but I am not happy because on no single menu has an African dish on it. Apart from one single restaurant called African Bite, other restaurants have more fish and chips, more pizza, more all these mainstream Mediterranean, European dishes. But I hope with the little thing we are doing, we're trying to leverage categories, chefs as a category of professionals who can help us not only engineer a tasty, functional recipe, but also affordable so people can adopt it. Want to turn restaurants, want to turn it easier and cheaper to eat in a restaurant than to go home and eat, cook yourself. But when we do that, we need to have an alliance with chefs, of course. But when we do that, we know that we can task the chefs to cook something for here, from here, and for here. And that's like a lifetime mission for Pack and Pick.
Thank you so much, Segon. If you want to drop a link what we can share on the social media channels, just leave it in the chat so others can also look up what you have been working on already over the past years. And please enjoy your meal. Thank you so much for sharing all.
Let's have some avocados.
Enjoy.
Yeah,
all
thank
right.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
So let's go to South Africa. Desigan. Thank you for waiting patiently.
Hi there, guys. Best experience happening in Rwanda. Can you hear us loud and clear?
Yes, we can hear you. Let me just mute Segon. Sorry, Segon. Now it's your turn. Tell me, what did you prepare? How is your climate supper lunch going at the moment?
It's been going really well. We were extremely hungry, so we ate all of the food already. There's a plate that we kept. Okay. We're going to have that afterwards. With me, I've got my wife, Anavika, and I've got my colleagues, Ria and Rikilwe. And Anavika is going to tell us about what we ate today.
So this is the plate left over. Let me.
Ooh.
So it's all, what I really like about this whole plate, it's all locally grown. So nothing is from outside South Africa. So it's all locally grown. It's all fresh. So I made, it's like a way to eat a lot of vegetables. Oh yeah, it's completely vegan. So there's no animals hurt for this lovely plate. So I made spinach and tomato, mushroom, and baby marrow, or in Europe you would say zucchini, kind of like a lukewarm salad. And then we have sourdough bread. So it's only water, flour, and sourdough starter, so no preservatives. And then on this side it's a, what do you call it? It's
flatbread.
Yeah, it's like a flatbread, also water and flour, nothing else. And I made really nice, like a hummus with white beans. What now? Butter beans, the butter beans, basil, and then I used vegan mozzarella and tomato. Yeah, I think my fellow partners in crime really enjoyed the meal. I really did. You got a lot of vegetables in one go, and yeah, once again, it's completely vegan. So I think that's, for me, it's a really important thing that you can have a proper, nice, healthy, filling meal without hurting any animals.
Yeah. And especially in South Africa, where you have the braai culture, if I pronounce it well, I assume it is not so easy to have or like shift this mindset of others. So how has it been for you?
So I'm originally not from South Africa. I'm from the Netherlands. I've been a vegetarian for over more than 12 years, but I really feel like you can be, if you just think out of that small box of only eating meat for braai, there's actually so much more you can eat. It's even more elaborate and creative than just the standard fish or meat on your braai. So I really think it's just a mental thing. People have to, instead of just looking at braai as meat, you can say like, wow, look at that whole vegetable section, either at the market or the grocery store, and you can have it all on your braai.
Yeah, so there's definitely a wider group of people, or a larger group of people, that are looking to change their diet, and for various reasons. I think people are realizing that the planet's in trouble, and one way to help the planet is to change their diet. But also another big driver is that people's health is also in trouble as well. Like by eating a lot of meat, and especially a lot of braai meat, which is a huge culture in South Africa, it has led to health complications in people as well. So that's another driver for people wanting to explore more healthier and nutritious ways of eating that are not animal-based. Like now, I find almost in every conversation that I'm in, there's at least one vegan, or there's someone really interested in exploring or learning more about veganism or plant-based diets.
Yeah, I would prefer to say plant-based, because vegan it's already like you're really making it to like a niche, and a lot of people say like, oh, but I can't do this. I'm not saying we're vegans. I'm still wearing, although it's a second hand, but I'm still wearing my leather jacket, and I love my leather shoes. But like just for the food part, you can do so much. So yeah, I prefer to say plant-based. I think you have like a more mainstream audience to talk to.
I think it's just also like an area to consider education, right? When people understand the why behind eating plant-based and not having it be so culturally like popular to have braai meat, or if you're not having meat on your plate, then it's not a full meal. You know, just sort of like educating people on like the effects of different diets and their impact on your health. You know, it's just also we are having those conversations in South Africa. You know, like people are becoming more conscious, as Kezigan said, about what they're eating or what they're putting on their food. And we actually have a lot more plant-based restaurants around, and they're all just like blooming everywhere, and mostly in the cities that are really popular, like Cape Town. But it's also like increasing in Joburg, which is it's a capital city actually. You know, so like it's really booming, and people are becoming mindful of what they're having on their plates and what they're eating. So it is a movement. So it is a space for us to actually just shift the culture, because you learn that you don't actually need a lot of people to act in a certain way for that behavior to be taken by a lot more people. You might think that majority needs to do it, but that's not necessarily the case. So if more people like get invested and more people are interested about learning, and once they know the why behind certain attitudes and certain behaviors, then they can easily adopt it because they have just clicked with the why. You know, so it's just having people understand why we are promoting this way of living, why it's important for them to eat in a particular way. And people we shift mindset, you know, and then it's a decision they make for themselves. We're not saying don't eat meat, but eat meat with a conscious mind. Eat meat knowing the impact that it has on your health, it has on the environment, it has on just the climate, actually, like in its entirety, and the global impact that it has.
Very
good. Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks for at least leaving a tiny plate to show us what you have eaten, and thank you for holding so long with that. I hope you can continue the conversation. Sorry?
We had like 3 helpings each, so we're stuffed.
There's actually still a dessert waiting in the fridge, which is also fully plant-based with banana and coconut milk ice cream.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
We make a
All right.
picture.
Please do. Enjoy. Thank you so much. And I now travel to Zambia. Nancy.
Hi, Julia. How are you?
Very good. How are you? Thank you for having this beautiful table, what you're sharing with us. And who else can we see on the screen?
Okay, so I have with me my mother. She's Martha. And then I have Helen, my young sister. And I have Agnes as my niece. Yes. Yes.
Very nice meeting you all.
Yeah. Yes.
So Nancy, what did you prepare?
So for us, this is lunchtime. And then what we prepared is our lunch. And most of it has got, we've got vitamins that we'll get from our vegetables. And then we've got proteins, and we also have carbohydrates. And then we also have mangoes as our sweet course, which are locally grown. And all the food that we'll be showing you today will actually be, they're actually grown in our backyard, and they're very cheap, and they are very easy to grow because they don't need any external inputs. So to start with, I'll start with the vegetables. And this is it's well known, everyone knows it. It's actually, these are pumpkin leaves. And then what we've included is pounded groundnuts when cooking them. And apart from cooking them with pounded groundnuts, my sister will explain how else we can actually cook this.
So yeah, apart from that, you can actually just add your tomatoes and your onion and some oil and boil for a bit, and you're good to go. Apart from that.
Yes. So those are our vegetables. So we added, for us today, we wanted to add some more groundnuts to add the protein and also to get the vitamin. So still going on with our more vitamins and vegetables, these are our sweet potato leaves. And they were cooked with oil, and there's only tomato and onion added to it. My mom will also explain the other way you can actually prepare them.
So apart from putting oil in it, you can also put pounded groundnuts. Instead of cooking oil, you just add pounded groundnuts. And you can cook it only for less than 10 minutes and you're good to go. They're also easily grown in our backyards.
Yeah. So thank you. So as much as these are just vegetables, we also eat the tubers, which is the sweet potatoes themselves. And then sometimes we even add peanut butter to them. So yeah, like she said, easily grown in everyone's backyard and easy to go. And then apart from that, we also have, this is small fish. We call it kapenta in Zambia. So we wanted to add some protein to our food, though we have some other protein, but it's also, you can have it in Zambia, though it's in different parts of the country. So, but there's sometimes fish ban. So what has happened with the incoming of horticulture, people can actually even harvest them from their backyard using small fish pond, if there's a fish ban by then. Yes, so after that, apart from that, we also cook beans, yes. And then this beans is also our protein. It was dry beans, then we boiled it for like an hour. Then after boiling it, then we added some more nutrients, which are carrots and also green beans, tomato, and onion. But having talked about all our proteins and also our vitamins, we cannot eat our food without our carbohydrates. So my niece will actually explain the starch or the carbohydrates we have.
So this is nshima, as it is locally known in Zambia, but it's thick porridge as well. It's easy to prepare. We only need water and maize meal. It's our source of carbohydrates, and it can either be eaten at lunch or supper.
Yeah. So this is our thingy, and then now the mangoes we talked about are also in our backyard. So they are
the carbohydrate, is that a steamed bun, or what is the way how you prepare it?
Okay, you can go ahead.
Like I mentioned before, you only need water and maize meal. So, and the source of heat, of course. So you get your water, have it to a boil, then make a paste using cold water, put it in there, then cook it for 10 to 15 minutes. Then after that, you can add more meal in it, cook it until it's a bit hard to make it thick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we actually eat it without we eat it with our hands, and if somebody is still learning to eat, people can use their forks. Yes. So you cannot eat it on its own. So I don't know if it's tasteless. I don't know. So you actually need all this stuff for you to eat. Yeah. And then we were mentioning our mangoes. So they're also indigenous grown, and they're grown in our backyard, though they are seasonal. Yeah, so this is our lunch, and you're welcome to dig in. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Such a diverse and balanced table in the same time. So please go ahead, enjoy. Thank you for sharing this with us. I am very fascinated by the leaves, what you just said at the beginning, because here in Europe, we don't even get these leaves, right? Because they're already chopped off from the vegetables before they reach our table or supermarket shelves or whatsoever. So I think this is also a very great learning for our audience to listen, that there are parts of vegetables that are also edible, but land in our trash normally. So thank you so much. Enjoy your lunch.
Yes.
Thank you.
And, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Bye.
Bye. In the meanwhile, we have the Lebanese crew online from Lebanon, but also from Brussels. So I would like to ask Rabih, Ruba, and Nabila to come on screen and tell us what they have prepared.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, this is Ruba from Brussels / Lebanon. And I'm here with my family. I don't know if you can see them. This is my husband and my daughter Julia, and my son Rami. Say hi.
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 So Ruba, what have you prepared?
Okay, so we have here it's brunch / lunchtime. So we prepared the Lebanese manouche. I don't know if you can see it. It's a dough with thyme, and also another type of manouche, which is kishik. I'll send you the link of how it's prepared. I will actually show you. This is the product we bring from Lebanon, so I don't buy it from here. It's actually made in villages in Lebanon. So it's this powder. And it's made from cracked wheat and fermented with yogurt, and then it's made into a powder. So we can either eat it as a soup, or we can make it into a filling for manouche. So
wow.
Okay,
so this is wheat and fermented yogurt, and then it's powdered.
Yes, I will actually send you a link so you can know exactly what it's like. Sorry, I'll share it to the chat. Excuse me.
Thank you.
This is amazing. Julia, if I may interject, the first bread that you showed us, Ruba, was it called manakish? Was that with za'atar on top?
This is manaish. The dough is actually the manaish dough, and you can put whatever topping you want. So usually the most popular is the za'atar, And by the way, this is now a delicacy in Lebanon. As you know, now we're going through a financial crisis. So this used to cost the equivalent of €0.5 in Lebanon, and now it costs around $4. And people are still making the same amount of money as they used to before. So most people now cannot afford this. So just to shed light on this subject. So now this is homemade. I actually made the dough because I could never find a good manouche in Brussels. It's not how they make it in Lebanon. So yeah, so this is something we eat always for breakfast or for brunch. Also, the kids love it. So, and we make it whole wheat.
I must say, Ruba, you're bringing tears to my eyes today because I grew up in Oman, and every Friday, my mother used to take me to this car washing center, and just outside, there used to be a guy who would sell falafels and he would sell manakish.
Really?
I ate it every Friday for 14 years. Like,
oh, wow, okay. That's nice. And also we have staple tapas of Lebanon, hummus, and we added a bit of chili, and labneh, which is fermented milk, and it's made into a paste. And then we have the main dish, which is this. Can you see it? No, they can't see it.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's called mulukhiyeh. It's juz mallow, and I will send you also a link. It's an herb that I also bring from Lebanon. It's picked during the season, so it's a green herb that's picked and it's dried, and then we cook it as a soup with the chicken or meat and onions, and we eat rice with it on the side, rice with vermicelli. So yeah. And this is it. So I wanted to join forces today with Rabia and Nabila, just so we can give you a full Lebanese experience. And also maybe we were discussing yesterday about the issue of food insecurity now in Lebanon, and also how people are moving more towards sustainable production, because after the blast and the financial situation and everything, people are moving more towards growing their own food, doing more kitchen gardens. We have so many community kitchens now opening up in Lebanon to feed people. And people are also being forced to innovate a lot in order to sustain themselves. And I think Rabia will also explain further about this when he speaks, because he's more the expert about, he's on the field more. So I just wanted to introduce you to my family and what we eat. And this is it. If you have any questions for me, please go ahead. Otherwise, I leave it to the experts.
Thank you, Ruba. It looks pretty delicious. So maybe you are an expert as well. You should not underestimate your knowledge and everything. You already shared a lot here over this table. So please start enjoying the food, the delicious food you prepared. And I'm not sure if Rabih is still here. I saw him on the list. I have an iPhone dialed in who might be him. I just don't know the name. But Nabila is definitely there.
Julia.
So maybe we can. Hello.
This is sister, and good afternoon. He's coming. He's on his way. So maybe you later, or I will start before him.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, then we can maybe hear Nabila till he is returning.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good. Well, actually, I have not prepared any dish to show you because usually we don't eat at this hour. We eat at 7. So yeah, because my mother work and my father also work for a late hour, so we eat at 7 p.m. However, I'm gonna talk more about the financial crisis and what are some initiatives that were done in Lebanon recently in 2020 to help the youth to innovate and to think about all the problems that currently are happening in Lebanon, especially the ones related to agriculture and so. So I had the opportunity actually to participate in some initiatives. One of them is called Youth Leadership Program, which is it was founded by UNDP in Lebanon, and I had been trained by Riyada for Social Innovation, which is also an initiative that in Lebanon that helps youth and train them to become innovators more. So the idea that my team came up with is named Agricom, from agriculture, and com related to com and technicals. So actually the aim of Agricom is to encourage Lebanese people to start doing their own food, preparing their own seeds. We aim to give them a consultation on how easily seeds can be doing, especially that all the seeds in Lebanon are not Lebanese. We bring them from different countries, and this made them more expensive, especially after the dollar crisis in Lebanon, because everything we buy is in dollar. However, we still earn money in the Lebanese lira. So even getting our own food now is being expensive. As Ruba said, that manouche is really expensive. Yesterday we bought manakish from Saida. I live in Saida in South Lebanon. So we bought them by 20,000 thou, which is really expensive. We used to buy them by 10,000 thou or so. So really we're having this financial crisis, and such initiatives like what the UNDP did to train the Lebanese youth to start with thinking about more innovative ideas to help the market means of agriculture or any other market in Lebanon to start or to continue working effectively is really helpful. Also, I had the opportunity to participate in a regional hackathon named the Design Thinking Hackathon Post COVID-19, and we were the first runners for this initiative as well, which is Agricom. In this hackathon, also there were different initiatives that came to help the agriculture in Lebanon, especially that it's not really an active field in Lebanon, because it has been doing this since the independence until today. It's the least field to be working in Lebanon. So really, after the crisis, we need to enrich this field, to work hard on it, even as youth, to start thinking of agriculture as something that should be empowered more in Lebanon. So that's all that I love to share with you about agriculture, and hopefully if I was able to take a photo of what we're gonna eat today at dinner, I will take a photo and share it with you all. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Nabila. I'm very happy you could join. So let me check in with Roro. Is Rabih back? Can we maybe see what you have prepared?
Actually, he didn't come. I called him. He needs like 5 minutes only.
Oh, okay. Then you know what? No problem at all. We do have other people on the call who we can continue with, and then we jump back in Lebanon when he arrives. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. So in the meanwhile, I saw Monica has arrived. Hi, Monica.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. We're good.
So how is your climate lunch going?
It's going really well. My guests are a little bit shy.
That's okay.
Here, let's see. How do I? Here we go. Say sonit. Noni, kuka sao ya? Englanix.
That's okay. Don't worry. Very happy to see you.
Sanonit. Yeah, sanonit.
My name is Rosa. I'm 10 years old.
Missä sä käyt koulussa? I go to school in?
I go to school in Finland.
Yes, hyvä. And we are having a traditional, sustainable, and kid-friendly menu and conversation.
All right.
So I have a menu here. We're having traditional reindeer stew, traditional way with mashed potatoes and lingonberry jam, rye bread, of course, and then roast carrots, pickled beets, and mixed forest berry juice. It's mostly homemade. And it's every ingredient is locally sourced from Finland. And I picked each each ingredient to represent a traditional aspect of the Finnish diet. So it's this kind of traditional Nordic diet that's a little bit different from Mediterranean. But in Finland, we have a lot of carbs. It's like very carb heavy because potatoes, onions, carrots, and the 4 grains of barley, wheat, oat, and rye is really what grows here best. And that's kind of supplemented with meat, of course. And the sources of vitamins are mostly berries that are picked in the summer and preserved through jams and juices for vitamin C in the winter. Yeah, so I'll show you what I made. It looks terrible on camera, but it's it's a traditional reindeer stew. The reindeer is I picked the reindeer because it's one of the most sustainable meats in Finland because it's still herded by nomadic indigenous farmers up north in Lapland. So yeah, and our juice and jam is from grandma. So I also prepared some question points for Rosa, but she's a little bit shy. For example, niin, Rosa, me puhutaan, että hyvä ruokavalinta, like a good diet, niin mikä on siis tarkemmin ruoassa syötävää? What's the most important thing for people to eat? Se kasvissia, lihaa, mikä?
Ai, kasvissyöjä vai?
Joo, vegetables. Ja mikä verran, how much vegetables pitäisi syödä lautaselle? Mikä täynnä?
So Monica, I have a question for you. You said it's also kid-friendly menu, what you prepared. So tell me, how did you make the menu kid-friendly?
Well, this is all food that they've grown up with. It's stuff that they've been eating since they were really small. It's like the most traditional food in Finland. So mashed potatoes, roast vegetables, pickled vegetables, bread that they have at every meal. The reindeer is a little bit special. They've never had that because it's kind of like it's a little more expensive because, of course, like I said, it's indigenously and sustainably produced. So it's there's like a limited quantity of it. But they've tried it and liked it. So.
And did you also prepare the meal together?
I tried, but Rosa wasn't too interested.
Maybe not yet, maybe in a few years.
Yeah, she does know how to make all of this stuff though.
Very nice, very nice. So Monica, this is a very, very colorful table as well. I think that's also one of the part of the kid-friendly menu, actually. I think when something is more visually appealing, it might be easier to incorporate in the kids' diet. So it definitely looks very interesting. And what other questions did you prepare for Rosa?
I asked her, like, for example, at their school, they're growing their own organic vegetables. They go to a Steiner school in Tampere. And I was asking her, like, why is it important to grow your own vegetables? And why is it important to, like, know where your vegetables come from, if they're organic or if they're sustainably produced? We discussed all of this beforehand. She's just a little bit shy at the moment. But the sustainability aspect, she didn't really get. But when I asked her more about things like organic and homegrown and how, like, where the food comes from, that's where she kind of started to get along with the conversation. And I asked her, what do we grow in Finland and what do we grow abroad? like what kind of vegetables do we get from abroad? And she was able to instantly tell me like what vegetables are domestic and what has to be shipped in from somewhere else. And I asked her, like, do you think there's a difference in like the environment impact of growing food in Finland or growing it in the backyard and getting it from abroad? And I think this was like the first time she had considered something like that. But I think it started an interesting conversation.
Yes,
definitely. And
Very
then of course, then I was asking her more about like, well, what else do we get in Finland? What else do we have to get from abroad? And that was one thing that she connected with was brands. I don't know how it is in other countries, but right now, brand name clothes is a really big thing for kids, especially these ones, Adidas and Nike and all of that. And of course, they know that the appeal of that is that it's like foreign and it has to be shipped in. And we were talking about like, you know, how can we really know where it comes from or how it's made if it's made abroad? So.
Thank you. I think it's very important to start these conversations in a very early age. And I think Rose in this case was already pretty, like had a pretty high food literacy in this sense, because I don't think a lot of other kids in her generation actually would instantly understand what is growing here and what is not growing on the supermarket shelf, because let's be honest, a lot of the younger generation still thinks that their food comes from a supermarket, right?
Yeah.
So Monica, I think it's a very important conversation you started there in Finland over that lunch table. Thank you so much for joining us. And I will check in with Roro and Rabish again. How is, enjoy, cheers.
Thanks.
How is our final Lebanese table doing? Do you think we can feature you now, or shall we go on with the other participants on the line? All right. So then, in this case, I would like to introduce you one of our team members. Jose de la Rosa. Hi, how are you?
Hello everyone. I'm
Thanks
fine.
for joining us today. Did you have the chance to listen into some of the previous menus?
Absolutely. I'm amazed. I mean, I have been listening more or less the whole morning from the Facebook, and now that I connect, I have been watching. I got amazed about the Zambia, the mangoes, because I love mangoes, but well, in Europe the mangoes that we get are plastic and and really hard, and it's not real mango. So I felt somehow that I ate those mangoes this morning here in Italy. So I got enough mangoes already. It's like the benefits that we can give to our world by not eating also. You know, I had that feeling saying that, wow, those are real mangoes and I'm not gonna have them because I don't got them real here. So I got enough already by watching them. Then if I have the chance to travel to any Asian country or African country where I can have them, I will have them. But if not, I won't. So yeah, I was reflecting about this, about the fact of not eating something and creating a good impact somehow. And yeah, for the rest, I mean, super insightful. I work with food and recognizing and learning all these techniques and the use of different ingredients, like for example, also the potato leaves, super insightful, super inspirational for me.
Very nice. So before, I know that you prepared something for this session. Before we start with that, let me just one more time show what they have done, because your part will be a bit longer. So I just wanted to hear if we could maybe see what they did. If not, then I would say we start with you. I just quickly say hi to Greta, who joined us in the meanwhile. Also dialing in from. Are you in Bologna right now?
I am, and I wish I was with Jose and the rest of the Future Food team at the moment, but unfortunately, we're not. But there's going to be plenty of opportunities as soon as this whole thing is over, and hopefully we get a vaccine. How are you all doing, by the way?
Thank you so much. Good. What about that? Let's ask the others, because I talk so much. Gian and the rest, how are you feeling?
I am so happy today. I mean, the Climate Up has been, as Jose did mention, it's heartwarming. It's just perfect. It's amazing.
That's great to hear.
So Greta was also attending the digital bootcamp in July, and then afterwards met us in Pollica in September, and she's actually working for FAO. So if you maybe shortly can explain what you are doing, Greta, and then afterwards we continue with Jose's part.
Yes, absolutely, very gladly. As Julia was saying, I was a participant in the bootcamp in July, the digital one, the first edition. Then, of course, I had to replicate the amazing experience in Pollica, which I have to say was an amazing experience. And then right before the experience in Pollica, I started an internship at FAO. I'm in the forestry department, so actually division, sorry. We recently changed names. And what I do, I'm in the outreach team. So I support the team with anything ranging from web, social media, and also with a forestry education project for kids. We have been developing these 3 modules for kids aged 9 to 12, which we're piloting in Tanzania. Trying to teach them about the sustainable use of forestry and all the different elements that forests bring to human and to the environment, and the multifunctionality of forests. So so far it's been an amazing experience. I'm learning an extreme amount of information and just generally how to work in such a dynamic and huge environment, which is of course FAO. Hopefully I can continue to support the team long before the internship is over.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's
and you will see many more dishes. I hope you also have something to snack on, because I'm getting again very hungry. And I can see Rabish turned on the camera. So that's your turn now. I want to hear what is the final Lebanese lunch / afternoon dining experience.
Hello, everyone. Here we are. It's our lunchtime in Beirut. And this is my family, my mother, my sister, and my nephew, Karim. Say hi, Karim. Hi. We have just prepared some traditional dishes. We have tabbouleh as a salad, and hummus, and kibbeh, and some eggplants, and grape sleeves, so filled with vegetables, and yeah, this is and sure some olives, because here in Lebanon and in Levant area we have a lot of olive trees, and this is it for us.
Wonderful. It looks delicious. So I see a young generation at your table. How are you sharing all of the knowledge, the Climate Shaper mission, what you have with him?
For Karim is 5 years old, but for sure his parents are educating him that we have to consume in a balanced way. So this is one of the major issues in our mindset, and especially here in our country. So the consumption it's not balanced. So we don't think on a strategic level, where are we going after what we are doing now, and how we treat let's say the leftovers, and how we can do that. But we want to say that the new generation is on that track, and we have a lot of initiatives now in Lebanon, and especially after the dramatic situation that we are facing. So this is boosting a shifting for the mindset, not a complete change, but we are on the track to accumulate those micro steps of shifting for the mindset, our mindset, to be more sustainable in the future. For me, and this is what I am hoping to transfer to Karim and to make an impact around me. I have started 8 months ago initiative regarding regenerative agrofarming model. So we are starting to treat some of 30,000 square meter of lands where there is already trees, but no one was treating those trees, like olive trees, apple and cherry trees, a total of 250 trees. And we are trying to start also our compost line. So I'm gathering all what we call garbage, but it's a byproduct by the end of the day. And we try to accumulating those products to have our compost in-house in the farms. And hopefully I have an idea to stretch that for the building where I live and the neighbor and all the neighbors. So maybe we can start to sorting our trash and to treat it at the same time. And the target after all of that is to have like a certain percentage of the basket of food that we are putting on our table, not just to grow crops, but to in a certain way to have a certain percentage of that basket. So that's why we are growing like almost 50 different type of crops and some animals there, some sheep and some chickens. So we are trying to build up the circular economy. It's a long way to do it. It's a long journey to do it, but by macro steps and by walking the talk, maybe we'll be there.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, and good luck on this journey. We are very happy that we can be somehow part of it. Enjoy your delicious meal, and I will hand over to Jose de la Rosa.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you, everyone, again. Thank you for all these insightful recipes and sharing with all of us your meals. And well, now I would like to take you in a little trip around the Scuderia Living Lab. Scuderia, it's the place where I work. It's let's say one of the bases of the Future Food Institute, and it's also where the Food Alchemist team works and underground. So I would like to take you in a trip on this space. I record this video yesterday early in the morning, so there were no customers, and it was easy, to show everything. And the video is gonna start with the intro that we used to use in the video recipes, the kitchen lab video recipes that we developed during the first quarantine period, the first lockdown period. It's somehow also showing the space. So I wanted to start with this intro, and then we will go into this guide tour, within the Scuderia. Well, I'm gonna pause also the video, and I'm gonna explain the things that we are seeing. Please do not hesitate to interrupt me, to stop me, and so I can answer to questions, whatever. The video, I'm gonna pause it whenever it takes. So let's start. I'm gonna switch off my camera because I want my internet to give all the power into the video. Okay, that's all. Let's start. Okay, share computer sound also. Optimize the screen share for video clip. Yes. All right. Yes, check my.
So it's black at the moment.
Okay, but it's asking to me like you need to. Can you listen? Can you listen the video sound now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. It works.
Cool. Perfect. So let's start. All right, so this was the intro. I really wanted to show it, and I also take the advantage to invite you to follow the Fermentation Friday video recipes that we are sharing every Friday. Of course, we are traveling somehow around the world and connecting with local people of different countries that got like really interesting fermentation recipes. They are sharing with us the anthropological and cultural aspect of those recipes, and then we elaborate them in our lab using our Italian local products, and then creating also a recipe, so to give an application to this recipe. So please, I invite you to follow up in Facebook, the Future Food Institute Facebook. You can find the Fermentation Fridays that we are running. Say this. Well, let's start with the tour in around the Scuderia. Who you can see here is Andrea Magelli, the boss. I'm also founder, together with Sara Roversi, founder of the Future Food Institute. And well, Scuderia. Scuderia, it is a place that it has been always called Scuderia. Scuderia in Italian means stable. It's where the people used to bring the horses and the car with horses. They park them inside this space, because out of Scuderia, in Piazza Verdi, it's a square, no? You can find also the theater, the opera, no? So the people used to park their horses here to then go to the theater. So first of all, I would like to go back a little bit, sorry. So you can see that the space changed a lot. It's a palace, and it's 450 years old, more or less. So again, was always called Scuderia. And from the entrance, you can find this beautiful wooden table that you say, okay, it's a table. Yeah, but it's one piece wooden table. And for us, it's super important because Scuderia was opening on, if I remember good, it was October 2017. And well, to charge this table and place it here was really tough. So it's something that for sure I had to comment. It's not like it's just a table. It is prepared for the students with plaques and everything. And well, at the end, the Scuderia, it's full of students every day, around 2,000 students per day that sit down here, study, and also got their meal. So yeah, I wanted also to give the importance to this space. Then we have also to print, and space to print. This is the team. It's not us who, it's not now when. And then we can find also these stairs. These stairs were dreamt by Sara Roversi, the founder of the Future Food Institute. So the people could sit down, okay, here, like people used to do in the main square of Bologna, where there is the cathedral. So it's somehow representing those stairs of the cathedral. And again, the students come here, sit down. You can find also here the plaques. Okay, so it's really comfortable to study. And also there is this slide that, well, to have some fun. Actually, people really like it, and to make also the space more like interactive. No? If we continue, well, it's a space at the end. It's like a cafeteria and restaurant, and we have here the main coffee part, no, where the people used to get the coffee, the breakfast, and also the rest of the meal. To say also important that we have a contract, Scuderia, and the Future Food has a contract with the university, so we serve the meal, the menus for the students with a lower price that it should be, no? So we active, no? We help also the students to have their nice meal every day. We continue along the space in this long bar. We can also find different spaces, no? Now we are gonna see in the bar side that we got like different offers, good food that is like healthy bowl. Then we have tortellino, pasta to go. Okay, good food as you can see. Then tortellino, that is gourmet pasta to go, and then we have the pop-up corner. Okay, now you can see the plastic because we are also recently we put also an ovens, and we are also making pizzas. But this corner, okay, and the plastic is here, you know, COVID situation, so to avoid the direct contact with the person, the pizza maker that is working there. Well, but actually in this corner, exactly this corner, is also open for innovation. That's why we call it pop-up. You could see the letters up. It's the pop-up corner. Basically, we are open to anyone that wants to come here with a proposal. For example, Julia works for a couple of days here, selling and sharing pelmenis. That is like a Hungarian tortellino, no? Russian pasta. Russian. Sorry. I thought that was from your country. So like a Russian fillet pasta, like tortellino. Actually, I don't know if Italians are gonna kill me, but I like them even a little bit more than tortellino. And well, I really like them. They were filled with beetroot and then paired with some like kind of balsamic vinegar, but made out of honey and dates. So well, this is a space that can be it's open to anyone that wants to come here and test a proposal. For example, I want to open a Spanish tapas bar in Bologna, and I want to see how the Bolognese market responds to this kind of model, no, to the Spanish tapas. So you can come here, okay, we give you the space, you bring the ingredients, and you can sell and serve your proposal here. So you can really test it, no, somehow. We continue, we start to see 3 different little houses, like we call it labs. These labs are like a showcase, are like a display where we show innovative products that we collect after our travels around the world. Sara, our boss, travels a lot, so anything she finds innovative, interesting that we could study, we also put it here so the people can have a look. Insect products, space food from the NASA, protein, plant-based protein products, and also a lot of them, products, spirulina, alga, fungi, all these innovative products that are sustainable and are also enriching our diet. Some representation also of our fermented products that we elaborate downstairs in the lab. Also, this is a corner, a shelf dedicated to the silk production, because Italy was also in the past producing this kind of tissue. It is something that you may think that comes from Asia, but in this case, also in Italy, Italy had a past related to the silk, and it is great because farther from the silk production, at the end, silkworms and the crickets and the insects that comes from the butterfly, kind of a butterfly that comes from this worm, are edible and are also a nice source of proteins. So we also wanted to dedicate a little space. We can find also here, you can see my arrow, Julia? When I point, you can see the arrow.
Yes, yes, we can see your cursor. Yeah.
So these things is actually coffee inoculate with mycelium, with molds that grow on top. This is of course in this in Escuderia and the Future Food is an ecosystem where we collaborate with a lot of startups. We receive their products and we then showcase, we show to the people, we test them, we collaborate with these startups in order to somehow accelerate them. In this case, this is coffee ground, so coffee waste from cafeteria. We used to collaborate with one startup that it's called Fungispresso, is used to grow mushrooms on top of these leftovers of coffee. And we also have a little space dedicated to this because, well, it's quite interesting to use a waste, a food waste, somehow that enhance the production of something like, for example, the mushrooms. More products dedicated to our travels around the world. And then we continue to the second little house, the urban farmer one. In this one, we have again different devices coming from or startups or already for big companies that share them with us. So then we can again showcase them, and why not grow our own greens that then we can even use at the lab for fermentation to enrich, to give also aroma and all these things. This one in specific is Tower Garden. This comes from our friend, our friend of the Future Food Institute, Stephen Ritz. He is a professor in Bronx. Well, he wanted to bring like real food to the community in the schools in Bronx. So he collaborated with a company to develop this Tower Garden. It's basically a hydroponic. You can find here the water in this tank, and then the water is being impulsed over the tower, up to the tower, and then this water follow down again by soaking the roots of the different plants that we can grow here. Actually, the production is quite good. I mean, you got a nice quantity of raw material that then you can use lettuce, whatever. It's really powerful. We even grow tomatoes during the first lockdown. And then this one is aquaponic. It's different from hydroponic. This is from a startup. You could see here, you could see here the pictures of the guys that created these guys here. And well, they came to Scuderia and say, we do these kind of things. We would like to put one here. Okay, so we can grow our fish here. You can grow our plants. So we are somehow collaborating and giving value to our job. No? How does the aquaponic works? Okay, so we have a tank with fish and also snails and also algae, specific snails, specific fish, and specific algae that create an ecosystem, a super sustainable ecosystem. Why? Because as you can see here, okay, from these 3D printed tubes, it's falling down water that comes from the upper part, where you can see the main production of plants. All the water, okay, comes from the tank that is in the aquarium and also in the base part that you are gonna see later. And this water comes up, soak the roots of the plants that are here, embedded here, and then this water that is somehow dirty and full of bacteria coming from the roots falls down into the aquarium tank. So this specific set of snails and fish eat that bacteria, so we avoid like smells For example, the tower garden that I showed you before, being aquaponic, need to be maintenance every month. We need to change the water because it starts to smell bad. But this is normal. The bacteria start to grow on the roots and start to create some fermentation, sulfur and nitrogen that creates this smell. It's just nature. In this case, it's sustainable and it's like a real ecosystem, like nature. We got the fish and the animals on the aquarium eating the bacteria, and so we don't need to really like invest in a lot of food for this fish and these snails and this algae. Then the water that is clean in the aquarium goes down to the base part where are more plants. Okay, you saw it before, and then goes back again to the plants in the upper part. We have here a different, as you can see, many things can be grown. We have chili peppers, we have lettuce, we have here in the back growing some beets, some red beets, beetroots. Then we have also some it's called cappuccino or nasturtium. I think that is curry cress in English. Then some beans. And then we go to our second tower garden. We are growing coriander. I'm from the south of Spain, and we have a really link with Latin America. I mean, Cristoforo Columbus started his trip from South Spain, and because of that, we got a lot of influences also from there in our kitchen in Andalusia. And the coriander is something really typical for meat and really difficult to find in the rest of Europe somehow. So I took the seeds from my grandfather and I plant them here. So I got also the coriander to use here in Scuderia. This is aubergine, but a super special kind of aubergine from Naples in Italy. It's like orange aubergine. So let's see if they are gonna grow perfectly here. And what else do we have? More beets also growing, as you can see. And then we go for our microgreens, our sprouts. This is from Coppercrest, already a huge company from Netherlands, and they offer to us also this kind of devices where we can grow our sprouts and microgreens. Also, not just for decoration, but also to enrich our dishes. And then the last one, and not less important, the food maker. Okay, of course, this the Scuderia is open also to art. Along these 3 years since Scuderia has been open, we have hosted many different proposals of art. Anyone that want to come here and show their art can do it, because at the end we want the Scuderia to be like a exchange of knowledge. So this is it's like the pop art side, no, but in the whole Scuderia. So this is something to comment. And again, now we go to the food maker lab. In this one is the one that is less related to me, no, to the food alchemist team, and the technology. We prefer to work with bacteria and molds and not with technology. But it is true that this technology also help us to create an experience, no? To create also molds and things that help us to shape our dishes, no? And that fermentation that we do, and all those ancestral and traditional preparations that we do at the lab. The mix of the technology with this tradition somehow help us to create a better experience, no? To create a funnier shapes somehow. That is not less important at the end. If we want to engage the community and make them understand that we need to eat this or the other, it needs to be also delicious and needs to look great. So again, this technology helps us to do that. We got a 3D printer, plastic 3D printer, that actually we collaborate in the past with a startup that reuse the tops from the plastic bottles to create the how to say, the plastic that you introduce within the 3D printer. So we are reusing the plastic to then 3D print molds or whatever we want. Then we go to the ByFlow. This is a 3D printer. Actually, it's the first prototype. Now the new prototypes are better. This is a food 3D printer. you can add any paste within this and then print it in the shape you want. We use it in the past, for example, with rice paste. And then after doing a kind of a star shape with this rice paste, we inoculate the mold aspergillus, the one that is used for making sake, for making miso, for making soy sauce. And we inoculated on top of this mold. It was super beautiful because you were really eating a super hairy star, but was looking super beautiful. So again, it's like connecting the nature with the technology, growing a mold that comes from the nature on top of a 3D printed rice shape. No, it was conceptually super cool. Then we serve it with a miso and miso toffee ice cream, and well, it was it's an example of how to use this kind of technology. This is the ripple that is intended to print with coffee powder on top of the cappuccino foam, so you can directly through your phone even take a selfie and print your own face on top of the cappuccino foam. This here is a 3D printer, a big one, using these cables, these plastic cables that I told you. It also comes also from reusing the taps and plastic from the bottles. Then what else do we have here? We have Nima. Nima is, I think that it's not a startup anymore. Now it's like a consolidated business, and this is a device. You take out this like I don't know how to say. It's like a cylinder that you take out. You put a little sample of the food you are eating, and it tells you if it contains gluten or not. For people that are celiac, I don't know if it's that in English, celiac, it's really useful because, as you know, gluten can be in any food that we don't even know. So, or even from cross contamination. So it's a device that helps this kind of people with that disease to make sure they are not eating gluten. Then, well, this has become also the office of our designers. So this machine is also for the printing on the t-shirt, for printing the labels that then we need for the lab and for the events we do. So yeah, it has become also the office of our designer. And now we are going to where I and my team work every day, the lab, underground, okay? We need to go downstairs, and here is the alchemist lab. No, we got this on the door. This is Aspergillus oryzae from our microscope. It's the mold that I told you before that we inoculate in the rice paste. We use it to transform and to digest many potential food waste, and so to add value to them, to enhance flavor, enhance umaminess. And that's why it's on the front door, because for us it's like we are in love with this mold and the potential that it got. It comes from Japanese culture, but we are applying it into the Italian raw material ingredients in order again to highlight and to give value. So let's get inside. Here you can see I didn't want to touch anything, and the lab is like that. It's not like we organize it or it's like that. Now we got this panel here with the SDGs because it's here where we record our fermentation Fridays and all the video recipes that then we share in the social media. But behind, now we are gonna take a lap around this panel, because behind we have our fermented drinks creations. These are all the rest of the panels that we use also to put like different backgrounds also. We got different vinegars from different ways, and also different overripe fruits and vegetables. And here we have our set of drinks. This, for example, is our pineapple starter. we collaborate with some companies that got a lot of tropical fruits. So we are helping them also to reuse some of the most wasted parts. For example, the pineapple skin, it's full of yeast, and it's used to create, for example, chicha. No, it's an alcoholic drink from Mexico and Latin America in general. So we use it to make like our pineapple cider. For us, the flavor reminds us to apple cider. So, but with the tropical touch of pineapple. So we use the yeast that is in the skin to ferment pineapple juice, and at the end get pineapple cider. Just a little example. Our coffee waste kombucha, using the coffee ground from the cafeteria upstairs. We sterilize it and then we ferment it with the SCOBY, with the kombucha process. And then these rest, now that you're gonna see these other bottles that you're gonna see, it's a special procedure that we are applying now, okay? We are aging the kombucha as wine. That is to say, we are not conserving the kombuchas in the fridge, but we are bottling them and leave it here at room temperature for months, and we want to arrive even a year to see how the kombucha age like wines. And actually it's becoming really, really interesting, really dry. It's like a different experience. Of course, we use this space as a dining room also and a lunch room when our customers come to Scuderia and we want to show them the innovation that we are running. We sit down them here in this space so we can serve a menu that is somehow gathering our portfolio, the things we do. So that is why also we have a little showcase here, a little shelf or showcase with the products that we recover around our travels around the world, or just simply like, for example, Spirit, that is a spirulina from Italy, from our friend Antonio, that he used to give to us a lot of spirulina so we can experiment with it. Now I will show you some interesting applications that we did with the spirulina. And again, we have this little showcase here just to show to the customers that we receive here, no? Now we are gonna take a lap around the lab, okay? You got here some of our kombuchas and also meat, hydrohoneys, no? Hydro wine out of honey. Then this is our super fermented kefir. As you can see, we like to over ferment them, separating the fatty part from the whey part. We like it really, really, really sour and really intense, because we don't use it as a drink. We don't use a kefir as a beverage, but we use it almost like a cream cheese, cheese, or even like a yogurt, no? Something really dense. We use the fatty part to then create somehow cheeses. This is something that another day we can get deep. And then the liquid part, the way we mix it with the mold that I showed you before, okay? In order to make like imagine like a soy sauce, but with the whey of the kefir. So at the end, you get like a cheesy soy sauce without soybeans, of course. So again, it's about digesting the proteins that are contained in this way in order to get umaminess and cheesy flavor, but in a sauce. So it's quite interesting. Then we have here our Paco, nutritionist, and also Raquel, that is an internship in this period. Paco is nutritionist and Raquel is a food scientist who studied also a master in gastronomic science. Basically what she's doing now is mixing and cleaning the almond miso that we are doing. Actually, she's cleaning all this shelf with all the preparations, miso, shoyu, garum, etc., that we do always with the same mold. And they need a maintenance, no? They need to be mixed and also to clean the surface in case any yeast start to grow on top. And now we get inside this little greenhouse where we have concentrated all of our devices like the fermenter, the microscope, the dehydrator. So we ensure that this space at like 2 degrees Celsius more, no? All these machines working here raise a little bit the temperature, so we don't waste that much energy on, for example, the dehydrator or the that you can see here. Now it's at 90 degrees because we are sterilizing it, but it's here where we ferment and we grow our molds and all the preparations we do. We are arriving to the end, and well, Paco, it's basically now filtering some chicha. Now I will explain how and what is the chicha. This is our pomegranate skin. Okay, I didn't prepare anything. I mean, we could have prepared a set, but I just wanted to get inside the lab and show the reality, no, what we were doing at that moment, that morning. In this case, these are pomegranates, okay, from autumn. We use the seeds to make pomegranate wine, pomegranate vinegar. Use directly the seeds for the salads. We also did with the seeds some powder that then it's like a really sweet and sour powder that can enrich also our preparations. And this is the skin of the pomegranate. We put the skin in vodka or nutritional alcohol for more than 2 weeks. And these pomegranate skins, of course, we roast them before in the oven also. And we make sure also that the pomegranates we take are not with pesticides, so we can really eat the skin. As you know, the skin of the pomegranate is really astringent, really bitter, and really rough. But we have discovered that through roast them and then leaving in alcohol for at least 2 weeks, they become really tender. They are still disgusting, really bitter, alcoholic because of the alcohol that we add, but the texture is awesome. Once we filter them, we recover the vodka that gets really, really, really red and really astringent and really bitter and contains a lot of antioxidants from the skin of the pomegranate, and we use it for making cocktails. Once we have done this, we clean them in water. That's what we are doing now. We are soaking them in water more than once, so to release all the alcohol and get just the texture. Now we are gonna get just texture and fibers and some antioxidants also. Then we will include the flavor we want, so we get like a intestine, stomach, mushroom texture, a little bit gooey, but with the flavor that we add. So again, it's like a way of reusing something that we used to put in the bin, no, and was not like even conceived for the human, no. How are we gonna eat the pomegranate skin that is super hard and it's impossible to eat? This is we found somehow the way. Then Paco, what is doing now is filtering the chicha. In one of the fermentation Fridays, we traveled to Bolivia in South America, and they make the chicha instead of using pineapple, as I explained before, they use corn. So basically now the paste of corn, it's already fermented, and we are filtering it so to use it again as a drink for cocktails or whatever. And then we go to Raquel, that is again is cleaning the miso that I explained before. This is the almond miso. It's pressing it. We need to make sure that the liquid starts to come out. And the liquid that we get from a miso, it's called tamari, or also known as the gluten-free soy sauce. And this is because actually it's not a soy sauce, but is what a miso sweat. So that is why it's called tamari. This is our distiller that we also use to get essential oils that also can enrich our preparations and give also some odors from the nature to our preparations. And then we recover also the hydrolytes. The hydrolytes is the watery part from distillation, and we use these hydrolytes to give aroma also to our beverage preparations. Normally in this table, we sit down the customers and we serve the menu that the game show somehow the portfolio that we run in this lab. This that you can find here is another hydroponic device called Plantwi, and we use it also to grow microgreens and herbs that enrich again our cuisine and our preparation. What else do we have? We have here these two interesting devices. Okay, these are like ovens, but actually they are not ovens. They are like a hot fridge. They don't spend too much energy. Basically, they switch on every 2 hours for 15 minutes in order to raise the temperature that we select. In this case, 63 degrees. So to make sure that we don't grow any pathogen, any bacteria, nothing can grow. But again, we are giving like a low temperature that keeps our preparations, our food, hot, but without really cooking it, if you leave it for so long, of course. And we use it also for make our blackening process. What is blackening? You may know black garlic, for example, that you can find now in the supermarkets. Is take one product, one ingredient, and apply the Maillard reaction till the infinity. So you bind proteins to glucose, creating glucoproteins. Where we can find a Maillard reaction further from black garlic? We can find it in black beer. We can find it in the surface of the meat when we grill it. We can find it in the surface of the bread. That browning process is also Maillard reaction. So taking that reaction till the infinity, we get blackening, like black garlic. We are applying that process also to many veggies and vegetables and fruits. So, for example, we get black apple. The center of the pineapple that is really hard and fibery becomes really tender and becomes edible. And then we use that pineapple to eat, because at the end it's like pineapple flavor, but somehow toasted, sweet, like somehow like licorice, like dates. It's really interesting. And then we use it for many other preparations. We have done that with the pineapple, with the apple, with pear, with chestnuts, with broccoli, with the cauliflower, with many things. We have done black everything, and it's really interesting the profile that you get from these kind of preparations. Okay, let's continue, and now we go for our koji shelf. This one, it's where we place and we age all of our garum, shoyu. Shoyu is soy sauce. A soy sauce would be a shoyu of soybeans. So in this case, we are doing shoyu of many other things, but no, absolutely no soybeans that are not that sustainable unless from our Italian side. So we are doing it with local beans, with chickpea and onions together, with cicerche, that is like lupin, but from Italy. We are doing it also, as you can see here, kefir garum. So we are using the way that I told you before, mix it with the mold, okay? So we get this cheesy sauce. And another interesting thing is that we are doing same process than here, but with the spirulina, for example. So we are getting, this is amazing. This is really, really recent, okay? This is from the October, as you can see here, 16th October. In just a couple of months, it's awesome, the flavor. I mean, we want to keep it for a year, like soy sauce again. But in this case, in already 2 months, the umaminess that you get is awesome. And it's easy to explain. It makes sense because spirulina is 60% proteins. It's one of the highest amounts of proteins that you can find in something natural, something coming from the nature. So digesting, thanks to the mold, digesting the proteins from this spirulina, you get an explosion of umaminess. To give you an idea, it's like 10 times more umami than miso, soy sauce, prosciutto, Parmigiano cheese, kimchi. It's 10 times more umami than that because of the high content in protein. So again, it's a really potential application of this spirulina. If you have tried spirulina raw, it's not the best thing to put in your mouth. It's like somehow it smells like a river, no? Like yeah, it smells like algae, like something that is coming from water that is wild somehow. So it's not like the best experience in your mouth. Through this preparation, we eliminate that aroma and that flavor, and we create an explosion of umami. So again, this is one of the reasons why we are in love with this mold. And then, of course, we cross techniques. One of the coolest things that we have done with using blackening and the mold, this kind of preparations together is, for example, black garlic miso. It's awesome because you get the flavor of the garlic, but not that intense, not spicy. It's toasted and it's somehow like liquorized thanks to the blackening process. And at the end becomes really sweet and umami because of the mold, because of the enzymes and the digestion that the mold does. So, and a demonstration that we can really cross preparation. Sorry, I'm really passionate about this. This is becoming a food scientific lesson, but I think that is fair to also explain a little bit all these weird things that we got here. Some of our kombuchas that we test and we drink, these are the open kombuchas, and then we measure the pH and the Brix a long time. And then this is a little experiment. These are plant-based salumi, like cured meat, but with vegetables, like chorizo, Spanish chorizo, or the Italian salumi in general. In this case, it's made out of tomato, paprika, pumpkin, and then inoculating the mold, the same mold, Aspergillus. So we get umaminess from the vegetables as we are eating any cured meat. And the skin that you can see outside, of course, is not intestine. It's not animal intestine, but it's the SCOBY from the kombucha dehydrated. So, and we use it as a skin, as an intestine, to roll up the vegetables and then age them in the fridge at 8 degrees, like it's winter. And the tour is done. I hope you really enjoy it, and that's all from my part.
We did indeed enjoy it. Thank you so much, Jose. I think it was a really good tour, what you prepared for us today. As much as I would love to accommodate some more questions, we did run a bit behind of schedule, and I have a few hungry dinner participants on the line who I still would like to feature. But thank you so much. I think it was an amazing virtual journey, and I hope that we can come along, and especially our audience, to see this with their own eyes and have you guide them through in person. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
So we still have Martina and two Silvias with their dinner tables on the line, all of them dialing in from Italy. So Martina, do you want to start and tell us who else did you invite for your climate dining, and what are you guys talking about? What did you prepare?
Yeah, sure. So hello, everybody. I'm Martina, and I'm having this climate supper virtually from my small village in Puglia, Bovino. But actually, my guests are located like across Italy. So let me introduce them. And I have Matteo, Matilde, Claudia, and Marta, which are all my friends and university colleagues. So I think now they can show up, right? Okay, so guys, please turn on your camera. Let me see. I don't know if I can see. Okay, yeah. No. Do you see them? Yeah, sure. Okay, I see them too. Okay, so then we have Silvia. She's from Turin, and I met her 1 year ago at one Erasmus Plus project in Slovakia about green entrepreneurship, and I'm really glad to have her here. And then we have Antonella and Chiara, which are sisters and special friends from my Erasmus experience back to 2016. And they are from my same region, so they are from Puglia. And I would say that they are really community lovers, let's say like this. So before giving a word to my special guests, I will introduce what I cooked, so my dish. I prepared for today pancotto, which is really what it literally means cooked bread, which I will try to show you. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. So this is my meal, cooked bread, and it is a typical Pur recipe from my region. Basically, it is soup made with pieces of stale bread boiled in water together with broccoli. Both kinds of broccoli, like the tops and the leaves, which we call broccoletti and cime di rapa to differentiate them. And so. Yeah, you just put them together with the water, and then you add seasoned fried oil with garlic and chili pepper to just give more flavor. So this is basically, I chose this dish because it is a dish of the recovery kitchen, let's say like this. So that recalls the humble mentality of the peasant culture that would never have wasted not even like a crumb of bread. So this is a recipe that is present in different regions of Italy with different variations due to the different kind of like bread and vegetables added. But the version of my region is to boil first broccoli, then to plunge the stale bread just to make it soft, and then take out the water in excess and put on the fried oil. So basically, I wanted to cook this recipe because I think it's something that it was born as a Pur recipe, not to waste anything. In times when farmers and people in small villages, like even in south of Italy, didn't have plenty of food, like plenty of food that we have now. And so then it became a traditional dish. So now even like my grandma and my mother during this period of the year, they cook it like very often because it is really part of our food identity and culture. So I think when we think about food waste, we could just like look at the past and take inspiration from how our grandparents and ancestors were used for need, of course, and not to waste anything, and still create delicious and nutritious dishes. So now I will give the word to my guests to show what they have cooked. So please, guys, I don't know who wants to start.
Maybe you can nominate. Point.
Silvia, I see you, so you will start.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Silvia, and I met Martina, she said, in a Erasmus Plus project talking about sustainability that has always been one of my main passions, let's say. And food is a big thing in this, and I see it as a mean to not waste food, not waste packages, and also here in Italy for our culture, it's really important to share things with others and share our time with others. So yeah, and I think that waste, spending time in cooking, is also something that that can underline the importance of food. And I did this today, and I'm super happy about it. And I try to make everything, let's say, seasonal and local, and I will show you what I made. So basically, there are some. I'm also vegetarian, so everything here is vegetarian. And this is like some veggie balls made out of pumpkin that I grow in my garden. and I like to grow my own food as potatoes here that are baked. And I bought some ricotta cheese in the local farmer market that is in my small town, and it's nice to have it, and I'm really lucky and glad to have it as well. And then I bake some bread, and it's rye bread, and I have some other yeast, and I use it from like to make my own bread almost every week. And this is really typical from here, and my father ate it since he was young. So yeah, and I'd like to share these things with others, and I hope this virus thing will end soon to do it with like not behind the screen. And yeah, that's all.
Thank you so much. Enjoy. I am also preparing a rye bread for dinner.
Okay, so next, Chiara.
Can we start if you want? Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello to everyone. We are Chiara and Antonella. We are the Ventura sisters, and we are very happy to be here to show you how to make like a very traditional and super simply meal that is very famous in our region, especially in Altamura, and it's called bruschetta. As you can see,
yeah, this is the famous bread of Altamura, and it's famous all over the world.
And it's very famous because of the ingredient. It's made, of course, by flavor, but these flavors it's taken directly from the farms. So it's very famous in all over the world, and you can put like also the tomatoes.
We take them, yeah, from our garden.
So to make bruschetta, you need like just very simple ingredients and very sustainable, because all the things that are here are made and taken from our farms. Like one day per week, we go to our farms. We take them like tomatoes and everything, and then we come back home and prepare like our sustainable food. So we are very happy to like to eat very sustainable things and not waste like food. And that's it.
And I can say that bread
like,
from Altamura is really good and really delicious.
Yeah, it's
so I
very
invite all of you to try it when you come to Puglia.
Yeah, you should taste it. You should taste it.
You should come here and taste it.
Yeah, that's
yeah, definitely. As soon as we can, we will be there to taste this bread. I'm sorry to interfere. I just have one quick request. Could we maybe give a slot to Silvia Paci right now, and then we jump back to your guest, because she just noted that she will need to jump off from the call a bit earlier. So if you don't mind, we could quickly listen to her a few more minutes, and then we jump back in to listen to Martina's guest. Sorry about that.
Is it okay, guys? You did tell me. Like, okay.
Thank you. So Silvia, do you want to tell us what you have prepared? Silvia?
Hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. I'm sorry for the timing, but we're running a bit late. So for today, I prepared a typical seasonal soup that we call in Italy minestrone. I don't know if you can see
It's hard
it.
to show. Okay.
Okay. So we put a lot of typical ingredients, like for the season, I mean, and they are mainly products of local markets. And this is something that I really appreciate to buy, because it also helps the economy also in this particular period that we are living. So I try to buy local as much as I can. And we have we made sauteed onion, carrots, and celery, and then did some potatoes and peas and carrots. And I'm reading because I'm afraid I can't remember all the names of the ingredients. And then some Italian spices that you can find in the typical Mediterranean diet, such as the rosemary, the bay tea, or marjoram. And we also have the grated grana padano, which is this one, that originally was from this one. And it is an Italian product that Italy in general is very proud of. And
very proud of.
And also there's a issue with the American Parmesan, and I'm sure all my Italians here know the struggle. And also the class with Jose, I don't remember when he talked about the difference between the waste and that something becomes waste when we throw it away, and that we should try to add more value to it. I've learned this recipe that essentially is the caramelization of the orange peel, and then it becomes, instead of something to throw away, something to enjoy after another meal. And then if you also want to make it a bit more, I don't know, tasty, you can melt it with chocolate, and it is more added value. And also we are having some fruit of the season, like the pomegranate, and I think that's
very tasty.
Yes, and very typical here. And I think that's all we have today.
A very, very nice meal. So I let you enjoy this. Thank you so much for joining and for your patience as well. Enjoy that minestrone with the real Parmigiano. And then see you later. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Well, Martina, who is your next guest?
My next guests are 4 friends from my university. So the course, the master degree in resource economics and sustainable development of the University of Bologna, and they are really close friends of mine. So who wants to start? Claudia and Marta. You are, yeah. Because
Yes.
I saw you that you were showing your dish like so.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Hi everyone, I'm Claudia. She's Marta. We prepared chickpeas nuggets with butternut squash, and the recipe is obviously chickpeas with onion, garlic, a little bit of rosemary, and they are covered with corn flour, and then put all the nuggets into the oven with butternut squash. And everything is covered with my oil extravergine de oliva from my countryside.
We choose this recipe as we follow a vegan diet, and we think that it is the most sustainable diet to do. And all these ingredients are seasonal food. And to produce these ingredients, there isn't a very high waste of water and very low emissions to produce this food. So
super, thank you so much and enjoy.
Thank you.
They were waiting, like just to show their. Thank you, girls.
Thank you,
So,
Martina. See you.
So now the word to Matilda.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Matilde. I show you my plate. It does not look very good, but I assure you it tastes very, very great. It is pasta with lentils, and so it is yes, this is my dog. It is a plant-based meal with whole wheat pasta. So it is an ethic and sustainable meal. as it has a lower carbon footprint than other food sources like typically animal food. Also lentils, as other legumes, are great for soil and use very, very little water to grow. And they require less nitrogen fertilizer because they create their own fertilization by pulling nitrogen from the air into the soil. And finally, they are a nutrient-rich food as they include proteins, potassium, fiber, magnesium, and zinc. So I think it is a perfect meal, a perfect dish in the direction of a more sustainable and responsible consumption.
Thank you.
That's it.
I love this educational recipe explanation. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now the last one, Matteo.
Hi, everyone. I made a very simple recipe. It's like a revisitation of Esau lentils, which is like a Jewish dish that is usually made of meatballs and then tomato sauce and lentils. But I did not want to use a lot of meat and to fry that much. So I just took a sausage, some lentils, some tomatoes, and I also added a mix of cereals to make it a meal with more fiber. And I put also some other flavors, like it's very spicy, with like very chili, and sometimes you can also add some curry. I personally added some oregano to let it taste more Italian, because I'm from Naples, so I really like the flavor of pizza. And so I made this recipe with a little bit of pecorino cheese on top, just to try to have not 100% vegetarian, but I because I struggle with that, but I know that it's very important. So I try my best to do what we can do for the environment that surrounds us.
Thank you, Matteo. I think it's a very great example because we know that not everyone will go vegetarian, but if you substitute part of your animal protein with a plant-based protein, that's already a step towards a more sustainable diet. So thank you.
Thank you too.
Martina, thank you for inviting all of your friends and sharing this meal and recipes with us.
Thank you. I wish I could have done this like not virtually but physically, but it was pretty impossible. But the good thing is that at least I managed to have all these like wonderful friends that I'm not sharing like the same city with anymore, because we are not living in the same city anymore since this situation. But still, I mean, virtually this was like a good point of making it virtually.
Exactly. We are still part of your ecosystem.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely, definitely.
Exactly. Thank you. So let us introduce our very last participant of the second session, and that's Silvia Berlendis. Silvia, are you still here? Thank you for waiting so long.
Yeah, I'm here, of course. I'm here with my boyfriend, Matteo.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Matteo.
We are living in Milan. And I have also two guests from Milan too, and from Bergamo, my origin city. And we approach also the food waste topic today, but we decided to do it in another way. So yesterday, all of us bought a mystery box from Too Good To Go. And today we decided to cook with the ingredients we found inside. So I was lucky because fortunately I found a chicken burger with pumpkin that I will cook tonight. But for this lunch, I prepared a sort of cold salad with milk flakes, carrots from local markets, because here we have a lot of local markets where we buy vegetables, olives, and also cheese. And at the end, I found also a probiotic yogurt. I can use as a dessert. And Matteo, what do you add in your dish?
Then we have to prepare some bruschetta with tomatoes, and that we both in the local market. And also we prepare the radicchio with cheese. We put the radicchio in the oven, and the cheese became liquid, so the taste is very good. And all the vegetables come from to the local markets.
Wonderful.
So
Sounds
yeah,
delicious.
for today we are waste warriors like our guests. So let's check what they have found in their mystery box. So Martina, do you want to start?
Okay, hi everyone. Yesterday I went to take a box from Too Good To Go, and okay, I already had lunch, sorry. So I can just show you what I found. So I found this kind of vegan hamburger that is made with spinach and other vegetables. And then I found these kind of vegan meatballs that are made with tomatoes and mozzarella. And I also found a jar of yogurt that we already used to prepare a cake that we will eat tomorrow with my family. And so I really like buying from Too Good To Go because it's a way to reduce waste of food, and you always found like really good things that you can eat.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
you.
Martina. Thank you. Alessandro, it's your turn.
Okay, hi Silvia, hi everyone. Okay, I booked a box from Too Good To Go too, and I found a pasta like that. I can show you this pasta, whole meat pasta. And I want to show you what I cooked, but I'm sorry, I already eaten, so I can show you how I can enjoy it. With sauce tomato that I made, and a simple dish but very delicious. And then I also found mice with this package of mice, and then I also found this yogurt, two pack of yogurt. And this yogurt is directly from the Alps, so I'm sure I will enjoy it after lunch. So thank you.
Very
and
nice.
I appreciate so much this app, because after that they sent me an email. And where they say, congratulations, you saved a meal with Too Good To Go, and it means to avoid 2.5 kilograms of CO2. So this is I appreciate it so much, this sustainable thinking.
Yes, it's very great. Thank you so much. And also, to be honest, the empty plate, what you just showed us, also shows us that you know how to portion your meal sizes, not to have too much on your plate and then end up throwing away. So you actually showed us a really great way of food choices. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm very happy to conclude our second Climate Supper broadcast block now with all these food waste warriors. And I would like to thank all of you to dial in, and for your patience, of course, that you waited a bit longer than expected. And for the audience, please join us. We will have a bit longer break now. It's well needed. I also need to prepare my dinner. So we will reconnect at 6 p.m. Central European Australian time, and finish with another 3-hour session going west and going to South America and the US, and feature other participants of the digital bootcamp we are running with FAO at the moment. So thank you all. See you later.